My name is Donna Rafferty. I'm chair of CB2's SLA committee. This is January 2025's meeting. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. So other members of the committee that are here, Erica Olson, and so the way this is going to go, I'm going to take things a little bit out of order. And so what I'll do, I'll call up the application. Please come up, introduce yourselves, everybody. Try to remember some microphones. There's one on the stand. It will need to be turned on, same thing with the one on the table. So if there's two of you, you can each have a microphone. But please use it. Present the application, then we'll go to the committee for any questions. We'll respond, and then we will go, if anybody's here from the public, we will go to the public. We'll let all the members of the public speak on the application, and then the applicant can respond. Everybody's addressing their comments to the committee and not to each other. And I ask that everybody speak respectfully to each other. I think that does it. The other announcement is we usually meet in this space for the SLA meetings. It looks like we're doing that again next month, but check the calendar. But after next month, our rotation will be moving around, so we're going to have to check the calendar every month. It will not be here. They're doing construction on the floor, so we're out of here for probably a good 6 months, if not longer. We all know how construction goes, so that's subject to change. But just make sure you check the calendar before we come and beforehand, just so you know where we're meeting. Okay, thank you, and we'll say it in a minute. Okay, I have Brian Hood joining us and Pitiful's joining us. Right, the first application is going to be French Roast Inc. doing business as the Contemporary West at 78 West 11th Street. This is an on-premise restaurant, corporate change.
Hi, my name is Michael Kelly, representing the applicant. With me is Luis Garcia-Mota. He's the owner. Luis is buying out his two other partners and will be the 100% owner. That's why we're here. The premise has been open and operating since 1993. There are no other changes. We've submitted some signatures of support. So you know, in case you're going to ask, he's going to be applying for a roadside and a sidewalk cafe. It's not part of this application, but he'll be back with that.
Okay, and just because it's been there for so long, I just want the hours are 7 to 2, 7 days a week. Is that? Yes. Yep. And there's no operable doors. Does the French doors? Yeah, French doors or
French doors?
No. I mean, what do we need to
They open up onto the street.
Well, I mean, they're supposed to open into the street, by the apartment. But they,
yeah, we need to put the microphone, but that's like you have an entry door,
right.
Next to that, do you have windows and there's next to that open.
I know what you mean. No.
No, that's what I thought. And background music only,
It's just, yeah,
yep, and then we'll be back for is there a basement?
there is a basement.
Or you don't use it for patrons?
Oh, no,
No, it's just storage, okay.
Yes.
And I think that's it. With the outside, we've been asking you if you'd be willing to I guess we have to look at it because you didn't have the roadway before, but you've had a sidewalk cafe there for ever.
Yeah, the Sidewalk Cafe is been there since '93, I believe.
Okay, would you be willing to close that at 10 and 11 or?
Yes, we do all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so, okay. Because then if I can put that in, then maybe once you go through the DOT, we're gonna have so many of these applications, especially when people have had the things before, we're trying to just get something in there, so maybe we can waive you having to come back here. So I will put something in, the stipulations that just say future sidewalk will close at 10 and 11, and it'll still say you're coming to us, but at least then we have the hours nailed down so we can turn around and say you don't need to. Okay, if does anybody from the committee have anything? Katie? We said there are some letters of support.
Yeah.
Where are they? I haven't seen them. Can you show them to me? Okay, Katie? Did you send it into the office? Does the office have it? Yes, okay. Huh? Okay, can you send it into the office? Yeah. But you know what? Can we keep it? Or do you have a copy? Or is that it? Have you scanned it? But I'll just keep it. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I think that's it. Next one's your next one, so stay here.
Yes, hello.
Announce it. So this is Tapestry Management LLC doing business as SEMA, 60 Greenwich Avenue, on-premise restaurant. This is also a corporate change.
Yes, hi, I'm Ronnie Mazumbar, founder, CEO.
So this is Ronnie's the current majority owner. He's transferring his equity into UAF Investor Group LLC for majority interest of 34.79% of UAF. There'll be his partner will be acquiring 27.18% in UAF. There'll be 24 other members of UAF buying the remaining interest of 38.03%. All of the other 24 members individually own less than 10% each. UAF will be the 100% owner of Tapestry Management LLC, which is the current licensee. And the name of the licensee will not change. The method of operation will be staying the same. The licensee will adhere to all past stipulations. We will be applying for a sidewalk cafe in the future. It's not part of this application. There is a fire hydrant in front of the restaurant, so there won't be any roadside cafe. And we do have we do have signatures of support.
Okay, and so the one thing I did notice was that I think now you're saying you close at 5 to 10, but you used to close at midnight. So I'm just asking,
Yeah.
do you want to just keep the hours at midnight? I'm going to put the stipulation form. You don't have to stay open till midnight.
Yeah.
But that way, then if you want to stay open till midnight,
course.
since you were doing that
Yeah,
before.
we'll keep the midnight, because COVID, that kind of,
Yeah, that's what I figured. But There's
Hours.
no reason to have it say that you're closing it. Okay, so. It's summer, no? People. It's been, no, they came back. It's not changing. Did the name just change on the restaurant or?
nope, same name, Sema.
but when did it? In 2015, it was called,
Tapestry,
yeah, it was this, it's the same group. It's,
same group. Tapestry became Rahi, Rahi became Sema.
right, but it's always been the same group. I don't have it printed out. Oh, from the other one,
No, you gave, this one was for, the one, this is both.
Yeah, I think one's a con.
Yeah, that would be helpful. So. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead. Thank you for the menu, but I didn't see your drink menu on here. Do you have a separate menu for the drinks?
Yeah, it's, go ahead.
I was asking for the drink menu. I see the food menu. Okay, so how much is a cocktail? What?
It's on the website, but yeah.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else?
Okay, I'm a little confused about the corporate setup. On the second last page where you have the proposed corporate setup and the names and the proposed title, percent interest. It's, doesn't seem to add up.
UAF Investor Group is going to be the member. Everyone's a UAF Investor Group, all the owners will own parts of that. And UAF Investor Group LLC will own 100% of Tapestry. And the other members all own, or they have equity in UAF Investor Group.
Okay, so on the top of this pyramid is UAF.
Yes. On top of the
So
pyramid is
everybody else is owning a part of that
of UAF.
or being a partner in that.
Yes.
UAF.
UAF will be owning Tapestry Management,
Is 100% owner of,
his own LLC.
okay,
Ronnie,
LLC. Okay.
yes,
So this break in here, the boxes, ignore that. So this is UAF Investor Group LLC.
yes.
This is,
So Ronnie, his LLC owns 34.79% of UAF. Ronnie owns 100% of Ronnie LLC. So his equity is in his LLC and he owns 100% of that LLC.
right, but only 34.79% of UAF,
Correct.
27% by one other group.
That is
Investor.
Chintan.
No, that's the same UAF Investor Group as this.
Yeah, so Chintan owns 27.18% of UAF. And the other 24 members own the remaining equity.
Okay, are we good? Is there anybody here from the public on this? I don't have any cards. Was there any? Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. Thank you. Now, Katie, you want to go back to French roast?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so we're good. Okay, the next application is going to be AW Hospitality.
Good evening, Joseph Levy here on behalf of OW Hospitality.
Okay,
I'll let my client introduce himself, explain the application.
Kevin Hushangi.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
you gotta hand them out. I don't, is there anything? Okay,
So by way of history here,
Yeah.
I think we can start there.
yeah, I think that would be,
The original application here for Kevin, he originally appeared before this board about 4 years ago. The application was approved with stipulations here at the community board. He filed an application with the State Liquor Authority. That application was conditionally approved. And conditionally approved applications have an 18-month window before you can either activate them or you have to start over. He could not activate the license because there were some DOB issues that needed time to clear up, and it couldn't get done in time. So unfortunately, he had to start over from scratch. Came back to this community board to refresh the stipulations.
I'm just gonna say, he did not come back. We just got
Okay.
notice. I just want to
Apologies. I wasn't part of this.
which is why we wanted to hear it again, because we didn't. hear it
Understood.
then.
So the stipulations were refreshed in January of last year. I wasn't part of that. I'm just sort of a newcomer here. The stipulations are the same as they initially were. He signed them again. The application was refiled with the State Liquor Authority.
And it was July 2023. I just don't want anybody to.
July 23, fine. That application has now run its course and it is very close to finally being approved. It's been 4 years. There has been a tremendous amount of expenditure here. So much so that these guys have essentially gone broke in this process and have had to reach out to some friends to get a loan to keep this going, to finally hopefully open their doors. Because it's been so long since there's been any communication with the board or with anyone in the neighborhood. The plan, I should say, is virtually the same as it always was, with some slight tweaks. So in speaking with the board, we want to come back to the board to represent, to refresh those steps in person, to have some conversations. We've done some outreach in the neighborhood as well. We've provided a new updated info packet. Slight details have changed. So instead of being a traditional steakhouse, it's more of a French restaurant that has steak on the menu, things like that. But the general operating hours, method of operation, all of that is exactly the same as it was. Now, the two small things that we did want to take this opportunity to add, if we could, one of them was in the years now that we've had possession of this space, we've noticed there's been an issue outside of the space. A combination of the construction, the vacant storefronts, the scaffolding. There's a homeless issue on this block. There's a safety concern here. So we did want to add someone outside in the form of either a security guard or a door person for people's safety, to help get people in and out and just to look over the frontage of the space. There have been a couple instances recently where there have been events here that are all properly permitted. And this had been an issue, which is why this kind of became an issue, and we'd like to add it if possible. We understand from some of the residents that there is a safety concern as well. So hopefully this is something that everyone's on the same page with. The other item we wanted to add is, again, the idea here is this is going to be a nicer French restaurant. They would like to have a piano inside. They would like to have someone playing the piano during dinner service. It will still all be background music. There's never any entertainment level music, but they think having a piano player there will help set the ambiance that they're looking for.
Okay, so the hours we agreed to way back then were 12 to midnight Sunday to Tuesday, and Wednesday to Saturday was 12 to 2.
Correct.
Right. And then there was a DJ in the basement only for
On occasion.
private parties.
Correct.
And we're keeping that.
Correct. Not as a regular method of operation, but if someone wanted to do an event or something like that, you'd have the DJ down there. Again, it's not, this isn't a ticketed or promoted event.
Right,
There's
right.
no third-party promoters. This is someone's doing something downstairs. They want to have a DJ instead of just the recorded music. It's
It's
something
the
that
background.
Correct.
Louder than background, but not
nothing escapes the space. There was soundproofing done. There's additional soundproofing done. Sure. There's also an issue with the back door. previously that we learned from some of the neighbors, and that back door, we're happy to stipulate, is closed at absolutely all times. There's also an issue with noise from an HVAC unit, and these guys have spent a fortune repairing that. And that should hopefully no longer be an issue.
Is that outside that back door? Is it?
Where's the HVAC? Outside the back door. Yeah, there's a courtyard issue where it's amplifying noise, which I think is why it was so impactful.
Okay. So how many, since the DJs at private parties, how many a year? Can we get some number on this?
You tell me.
It's very hard to say now because we haven't been open. I don't know what the requests are gonna be for.
Can we get some, I mean, because this is one of the currents that I heard is that you could be having a private party 5 times a week and
You want to call it twice a month? Does that make sense?
24, so that's 24 a year. I'd rather say 24 years so that if
24
you're
years.
busier at a certain time of year.
I can tell you that, you know, so far we had the Teamsters do their Christmas party at our place. And they've already booked for next year. Hopefully we'll be here, but that's the kind of thing that we're getting.
Okay, and so that was my one thing, so that's good. And then can you just talk about you brought in some new people, so
Yes.
let's just talk about
So I
that
can-
because that's what raised.
I can
some
walk
fun.
through it.
Yeah,
So the original principles that were presented to you originally and then refreshed again a year and change ago remain. As I mentioned, over 4 years and all the money they've spent, they ran out of money. Kevin reached out to a friend of his who's in the hospitality industry and said, hey, can you help me? Because otherwise I lose everything. I get nothing. He knew he wanted to come to New York anyway. They were able to work something out. Right now, he's lent him money. This is a loan along with a license agreement for the name, which has some value in the space. And the hope is that this turns into something we can get our doors open, and whether that loan converts and he becomes a principal in the future, whatever that is, if we're required to come back here, we'll do so. If not, a corporate change will be filed with the Liquor Authority if that is the direction it takes. As of right now, it's a loan and a licensing agreement, so he wouldn't have to be a principal necessarily. However, it's really up to the discretion of the Liquor Authority because there's no mechanism to add a lender midstream unless they specifically ask you to do so. I've already put that question to the members. You guys have seen my submissions. I've been very upfront about that. So they will either hopefully at some point approve this with a condition that I supply that information or tell us to immediately file that information following an approval if hopefully we get one.
okay, then my other question is the entryway. There's the one door off to the side on the east side. So how is everybody entering? How are people entering, coming and going?
All of the egress into the venue is on the left side, the east side.
That what, through that one little door?
Yes,
Okay.
it's reservation only.
The whole place is private.
That's the plan. We hope we're busy enough with reservations that it's reservation only. There's a host stand right there. People will walk in and there's a waiting area. The downstairs is a waiting area. So we wanted to keep as much of the traffic off of the street as possible contained to our space.
That was another conversation with one of the neighbors that there was an issue previously with people lining up down.
There's a bus stop right there
Correct.
too, so.
Not our desire to do that. We've created an area inside where people can stay so that there is no outside. And again, and I think this was a prior step as well, that we would operate mostly on a reservation system to make sure that that does not happen specifically.
Okay, because I'm just, with your new partners, it's even more of a concern because I have.
The other
Yes, ma'am.
issue, and I didn't address this previously, but I'm happy to do so now if there's something the board or the neighbors are interested in. We've been exploring the possibility of changing an Uber and Lyft pickup point
To
so that it's not right in front of the premise. It's actually on the avenue
Avenue, yeah.
to help
I
to
was gonna
also help
suggest
with traffic
that.
outside and to move people along and to get people away from the residential units.
Okay, great. So when they come in, they go downstairs. I see this, they go downstairs, it says services station. Is that where they are? No, no. I guess yeah, is that what happens?
Well, the diagram.
Because I think before you were gonna have them on the first floor, right? So that entry area on the west side, that's like the 3 doors that used to be used for the club aren't being used.
So it looks like you just come in and go right downstairs. That's the basement.
Which was the area she was referring to.
You're asking how you get downstairs?
Well, I see the stairs on the ground floor, right?
Correct.
And so you're not using the double door, you're just using that single door.
Just, yeah, we're using just a single
Single
door.
door.
They check in as soon as they walk in.
Uh-huh.
And there's a staircase to go downstairs.
Downstairs, and that's what, and then the downstairs, when I'm looking at the floor plan, and you may have redone this, because I don't know that, I think these are probably the same ones we had before or not, but when you go down, there's something that says storage there on the bottom right-hand side.
Those aren't those stairs. It's
Okay, so
stairs
where's the other stairs?
Left, the left side of the diagram. That's
Okay, back of house kitchen
Correct.
over there, okay, so then,
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
okay, gotcha. And then you're into that whole kind of more loungy-ish.
Correct.
Seating. Okay, thank you. And then, DJ in the basement, you also had acoustic live music downstairs
on occasion, yeah.
on occasion. So so upstairs, that's the same thing. It would be,
The idea is we'd have someone playing the piano during dinner service.
would it be, I mean, are you stipulating to piano or is it acoustic live music? I just want
I mean,
to know how to.
we'll take what you're willing to give us. Right now, there's a piano there and that's the plan. If we could have a singer too, maybe we want to do that one day. I don't know. But
I don't want any so I mean, if they can
But
sing with that
whatever it would be, the
microphone.
idea is for it to be background music. It's supposed to be
Okay.
a fine dining
Okay.
experience. You want to be able to talk to the
So you
person
want,
you're
I'm
dining
just
with.
going to put it this way, you want the acoustic live music on both floors occasionally, when, as.
That's fine. Again, we have the idea is to have a piano and to have someone playing some music to set the ambiance for
Okay.
what should be a nice dinner.
Okay. Does anybody from the committee have any questions?
Brian, you go ahead.
Just on the floor plan, so the area to the east of your entry or even the stairway entry, that's the commercial, that's the
Here.
store front that you show as a blank wall.
Oh, the blank area? You're asking what that is? What is this here? This corridor. What's this?
Yeah, I'm looking at a street view. I see what looks like your entry area.
Uh-huh.
You've done some work, looks like some trim around the doors and. Sort of.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's your storefront.
The one on the left is being
Yeah.
used.
Okay, no, that's a,
Katie?
So on this diagram, we have the double doors and the host station is right by the double doors. And the piano is behind the host station, correct?
This is changed somewhat slightly. The idea is for the piano to be in the middle of the dining room, not all the way in the front.
Okay, so, but people are coming into the single door,
Single door on the left, right next to the stairs.
but the host station is,
It's slid over a bit more. So when you come in, you sort of go right into the host station.
So you haven't updated the drawing.
We haven't updated
I'm
the
just-
drawing. I mean, it's probably slid over 3 feet or so.
okay. I can't, so this isn't exactly how it's going to look, what we have.
It's close, but it's not exact.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
hi. Sorry, I'm maybe just confused. Is the lounge in the basement, it's open all the time or only sometimes?
Yes,
It's open all the time.
Yes.
So this is a restaurant and a lounge.
yes, it's Caviar Lounge downstairs. So again, still focus on food and beverage. It's not just like, you
So
know,
it's a high-end French restaurant, but it's also a lounge.
correct. And that's where people can wait for a table or go for a drink after dinner, this kind of thing.
I have a question. Why? I've been to Dre's in Vegas.
This is not that Dre's.
I know it's a supper club, but why license the name? Like Dre's isn't associated with a high-end French restaurant.
There were a number of Dre's restaurants over the years that were part of the portfolio, and there are some that they still own. And it's, you know, it's a family name. They're very into it. They've had restaurants and clubs and bars all over the world. And he wanted to have the name be part of it. I don't know how else to say it other than that.
What does it bring?
What does it want?
Bring? Like, why not just have a high-end French restaurant? When I think of Dre's, I think of the Barbie and Up and Down. I don't think of a high-end French restaurant. So I'm just trying to figure out if this really is that. What does the name do?
I think part of it is him trying to break out of that mold, hence the Dre Supper Club. And the idea is to maybe have more Dre Supper Clubs all over the place as well. But the idea is, I mean, look, this place is not set up to be a club. Obviously, it doesn't work as a club with the steps that we're prepared to sign and we want to sign. They've spent a lot of money on the finishings, on the chef, on everything they want to do here. If this was masquerading as a club, I think they've made a huge mistake.
I don't think it is. I believe you. I'm just confused at the non-masquerading as a club, yet using a club name. That was only, it just feels like a misalignment.
Again, it's his last name. So
They emigrated from France. They actually started off in he's a self-made man. The elder Victor Dre. His first project was a French restaurant, I believe in Brentwood. He was in the movie business. He got involved with that. This is sort of a son tying it together and bringing it back to that.
Here.
Okay, I think I have some members of the public here on this to speak. Sure. So go to them. Bill Hoffman and Suzanne Bronson, if you want to come on up.
Hi there, I'm Bill Hoffman, and this is
I'm Suzanne Ronson.
we live at 238 West 14th Street, a few doors to the east of the nightclub. Anyway, we've lived there for a long time, and through many various inclinations, starting with Nels in the mid 80s, and then going to NA and up and down. There have been at least 4 or 5, but you know, we've seen people come and go, and some of the concerns we have, one of them especially, which they address to some extent, is you know, the traffic outside. There have been times when we've had, you know, people.
Make sure you speak later.
Times when people outside, you know, or people who live on the block had to go onto the street because there was such a crowd of people outside. Lines, even if the lines were done very well, still they would push out and just go on, especially if the place is popular, which I hope it will be popular, that they, you know, they would push people out and you had to go out. The other thing is that the crowds also sometimes when they go out to take a smoking break or whatever, they go on the steps are stoop outside of 230 14th. And I know the people next door also had people that were worried about the sort of the crowd control of people outside, but that's one concern. The other concern I'd say that we thought about is you know, the disc jockey outside, or the disc jockey I know the disc jockey is going to be a one-off apparently for parties and things like that, but I know when people have their one-off parties, things can sort of, oh, we're just doing it for one night, and they blast the music. And for some reason, that music travels really well underground, down even 3 buildings, which is what we'll be at. And so, like 1 in the morning, you hear boom, 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 and it's
Sometimes.
yeah, depending on how long it went. So I'd love there to be some sort of noise limit or something like that. But when you have a party, people, oh, you didn't know that, you know, oh, that won't happen again, you know. But that's the excuse we got when it happened other times. But trying to sleep through some of that pounding, it's difficult. Yeah. So that's
I mean, I'm encouraged by the fact,
Just state your names, whatever your name. Can you state your name so we have?
Oh, Suzanne Lonson.
Thank you.
I'm encouraged by the fact that you're saying
They can speak to us.
it might stop on 8th Avenue rather than right outside the club. I think that's encouraging.
Yeah.
And it is a different kind of, it's a French supper club. So that's not like Nels. That's, I'm encouraged by that. But also the equipment. They said they've repaired is it the HVAC? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that has been very noisy
Okay.
and is as irritating as loud music, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's quiet.
Okay.
And then the lines, yes, because they smoke pot, they're hanging out there. You know, they're kind of disruptive. It's kind of fight your way to your front door.
Right,
you know?
right. Okay.
That's really our
So
concern.
this is reservation only, so there shouldn't be the same lines there were when it was.
I think
up
with the
and down.
reservation, as I say in the reservations, it will be different. It sounds like it should be different. I mean, it was a club before.
Right,
It sounds
exactly.
it's different.
Exactly.
What I don't understand is when they come in, they're going to go downstairs to the holding area and then come up to
lounge.
the caviar lounge.
Yes. I'll have them answer you when you're all done.
It's like a bar and then a restaurant. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, I'll have them explain better, but I think it's like a lounge downstairs, restaurant upstairs, food lounge downstairs, bar, laundry downstairs, restaurant upstairs, but
What are
restaurant.
the hours again? What are the hours again?
The hours are 12 to 12, Sunday to Tuesday, and 12 to 2, Wednesday to Saturday.
Okay, 12 to 2. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
thank you. Thanks for coming.
Couple of very quick comments.
Okay.
The idea here is to have no lines outside.
Right.
And we're happy to stipulate to that. And between the reservation system and the holding area downstairs, the idea is we really should not have any lines outside. Again, one of the reasons that we are pushing for the ability to have a door person or a security person outside is to keep that frontage clean, which is something we've heard from some of the other residents as well. And that will be part of the person's job to make sure that people are not loitering in front of the residential buildings. I understand there were situations where people couldn't even get into their own buildings previously. That we don't want that at all. So we're aligned there. From what I understood about the noise emanating from the downstairs, a lot of it was a product of having this back door propped open in some way, and we will absolutely not be doing that. It will be closed. As far as limiters go, happy to do it. Once we actually get into the place, if we're able to open, we'd love to do sound testing in your building.
Okay, so you have everybody's email address.
To do it.
So you will, so I will put that you.
I have a contact person. We'll get your contact information before we leave here tonight, because
Okay,
we'd love to undertake to do all that stuff, because hopefully what the board sees we're trying to do here is to do this the right way.
Right.
To fix a lot of the problems that prior operators had here.
yeah.
And I think we can do that.
Okay, so I'll put some stipulation in that says that once you have the sound equipment in there, you'll reach out to the.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
Works with them. Can you just explain the downstairs versus the upstairs, how
Sure.
it's going to operate so everybody?
Sure. So the idea, this is a restaurant. It'll be a reservation only restaurant. We do not want to make it so that no one who wants to walk in can ever come in. So there is space downstairs if someone would like to come in, have a drink while they're waiting for a table, or have a drink and a small bite, or maybe they don't want to have a full dinner. They want to have a smaller meal. They can do that downstairs. Someone,
So does that mean people can reserve for upstairs and or downstairs?
yes.
But you will, then if you've got reservations for downstairs, how are you going to ensure
The
that?
idea is to maintain an area for the people that are waiting for reservation. We're not going to sell every table downstairs. Look, hopefully it's very popular, right? And there's tons of reservations, but the idea is to maintain a space so that there is that spillover capability so that it doesn't ever come out onto the street outside.
Well, this is supposed to be the restaurant. No, the best basement is like a lounge. It's low seats.
It's lounge style, yes, but there'll be a food menu and it'll be a lounge menu as opposed to a full restaurant menu upstairs. The idea is that caviar lounge, there will be caviar service down here, which will be a different thing than you can get upstairs, and that'll be sort of.
How much of the lounge are you planning to make reservation versus walk-in? Because I think that has implications for line and demand and Ubers and all the rest. I think that's the thing that changes it from like a clubby, loungy dance party situation to a actual
Yeah.
holding area lounge.
The plan is to get open first. Seat the upstairs, not worry about the downstairs, strictly holding area. You know, sometimes in restaurants, people take a little longer at a table and you don't want to rush them out, but you also want the people like on a night like this to stay warm. That's a luxury of this space. As it grows, we hope that we seat that whole lounge for dinner. One of the trends happening now are people eat in a lounge setting, right? They'll get champagne, they'll eat, it'll be small bites, things like that. That's the thought process with it. Now, hopefully we could get a corporate event or two down there, something like that, where the lounge seating kind of adds something different to table height. But the goal of this, and as you can see from the previous steps, it's a restaurant. It's the idea is to feed people in different ways and in a different environment. You know, the caviar is something we've wanted to do for a long time. Even in the previous incantation of this, caviar was a big part of what we wanted to do. So that's kind of the thinking down there.
So sorry, when you open, how much of the downstairs will you be doing reservation versus no reservation, 0, and just holding area, walk-ins, whatever?
The best guess I could give is we're going to start off only taking reservations upstairs. Now, let's say that goes well for a month. I think we would try to seat a third of the room and maybe to try walk-ins there. If someone comes in and we want them to experience it, maybe it's not the experience of sitting in the dining room, but it's an opportunity to try our food, try the cocktails, have a glass of wine. As that goes on, we would like to seat the entire downstairs for dinner.
Via reservation?
Via reservation, correct.
If you seat the entire downstairs by reservation, what do you do with the crowds that used to be on the sidewalk? I thought that part of it was that people who were waiting for their table could be down, not outside.
There's still a bar area downstairs for them to wait, and there's a smaller bar area upstairs for them to wait. And they'll be told if we're at capacity, they're going to be told they can't be here. And one of the things about the reservation software now, we could take a phone number. We don't have to give them a beeper. We don't have to remember the name. We could take a phone number. We could tell them they can't. That part of having the security guard outside or the doorman is, please, you can't loiter here, but we'll text you when your table's ready.
Okay, it seems that the Emporium Designs reversed the floor plans between SK001 and SK010. But I was trying to understand what you may have been describing earlier about you come in off the street. There is a stair there down to the lounge, but that seems to lead to a kind of a long corridor with no openings. You have to go down one extreme or the other of the hallway to get into the lounge.
You could just come.
Is that all revised? Have you revised the plan?
Let me just add on to that question. When you come down the stairway, there's something there's a wall, but then there's something right in front. So I guess if you come down the stairway and you go to the left, there's a doorway,
Oh, when you come down the stairs
right?
to the left to get into the lounge area.
So is that how people will travel to that lounge area, I guess?
on the
Because,
stairs.
That's the egress, yes.
and then what is that right to the right of that when you enter the lounge area? That circular area with a box in it.
Right here.
Like, I've entered the lounge immediately to the right.
That has changed. That's open now.
Okay, okay. What was that, a DJ thing, or what was that?
That was going to be a private dining room.
Okay, so that's no longer there.
The wall is down.
The wall is down.
So now it's just an open space.
So now when you come down the stairs, you walk right in, the door is no longer there, the wall is down.
This wall down.
Yeah, I think it's all down.
Okay,
What
so
would
that
you
wall's
like?
down. So you walk it.
Well, that's what, I mean, so why do we not have an accurate diagram? It would be helpful.
I understand.
We have one. This is just the old application. That's why this is, we actually had a PA inspection. So
So do,
I have.
can
revised
that be
plans.
sent in to us?
Yeah.
Because this isn't,
I mean,
Helpful.
when can I get it? Tomorrow? Tomorrow you can have it.
So then at the other end of the room of the lounge is a stair marked entry that goes upstairs next to the kitchen. Comes out at the back there near the restrooms.
That's for staff to take food down, up and down and where's.
But an emergency egress also, you have to have two
Absolutely.
ways out from the
Yeah,
basement.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
okay, and is there a DJ booth downstairs? No DJ. Is there a DJ booth downstairs?
There's an area that is set up for a DJ, but I wouldn't call it a DJ booth.
Because it's only gonna happen 24 times a year.
Correct.
That's problematic.
Yeah, so the DJ can be there any night or it's only there when you have private parties?
Only for private events,
Is that a start?
which is 2 times a month, we said, max. Right?
There's a designated space, but it's not a DJ booth. It's something that when the DJ's there, that's where the DJ is gonna go. So they could plug in and all of that.
Well, could you please identify that area?
That's the area on the lower part of the,
Should be. It's where one of these tables is set up. Like I said,
Come over and show.
that's this wall. This over here, this is actually this is actually a bush.
What do you want me to do? We'll get a proper diagram tomorrow so that I can circulate it to the committee and we have an understanding of the layout. Anything else? No, okay. Most of the questions seem to be around the diagram, so maybe you may hear back once we get the diagram.
Okay.
But I think we're good. Katie? You said that you're going to do some sound testing, that everyone can understand what the sound is like in the areas.
Correct. Happy to stipulate to do that.
Okay.
And because they used to pop this door open, so that's why. So that. I mean, they're going to stipulate to sound testing. Yes, I said that, we're going to stipulate that they will meet with the community once they get the sound system in to ensure that none of this noise is escaping out. And the Ubers on 8th Avenue.
And any of the items we talked about tonight, we're happy to stipulate to.
Okay. Okay. You good, Carter? Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is going to be 18 Ninth Avenue Membership Club Court, which was probably doing business as 724 Collective, 18 Ninth Avenue, on-premise club. This is an alteration to remove parts of the cellar space and a change in method of operation to increase the rooftop hours to 4 a.m. And then Gansevoort LLC and WSA-NY, Gansevoort Hotel
which is an alteration to add space, and I'm just saying them all because they I have. No, I actually don't. No, I have a reason for doing it, so. We're doing all three of the hotel, and Gansevoort, Hotel requires a Shan rooftop lounge. I mean.
So let me explain what we're doing. So this is the Gansevoort Hotel. I'm here with Michael Ackenbaum, who you know all well. As you know, the hotel. Just 1 second, guys. Can you just take the conversation outside, please? The hotel has multiple licenses. There is a hotel license that covers a portion of the basement, ground floor, guest rooms, of course, and a portion of the rooftop. Then, I guess 2 years ago or so, we filed an alteration application to remove space from the hotel for a private members club. And that private members club, which has a separate license and a separate licensee, has a portion of the ground floor, a portion of the basement, indoor portion of the roof, and the outdoor portion of the roof. And they've existed side by side. And then there's a cafe license also on the ground floor. There's nothing to do with tonight. Part of the basement space of the club consists of a bowling alley and a bar that's in the cellar. The alteration, the first application is an alteration application for the club to remove that space in the cellar and a stairway on the ground floor that connects to it. And we're going to put that back into the hotel. So that space, instead of being restricted to members of the private members club, will now be accessible to the public as part of the hotel license. While we are pulling it out of, so the members club is filing an alteration to pull it out of that license, and the hotel has to file an alteration application to add it to its license. So that's two applications, two separate applications. The next application, which you have listed as part of the club alteration, but it's technically a separate alteration, a separate application, which is why we have four, is a change in method of operation for the club. The only change we are seeking for the members club is to have the indoor portion of the rooftop go back to 4 a.m. Now, it had 4 a.m. when it was part of the hotel. Again, we're just talking about the portion of the indoor space of the rooftop that is part of the club license.
Which is just the center space.
The larger indoor space in the rooftop is part of the hotel, which is not being.
Which is, just to be clear, is on the northern and eastern sides. I just want people,
yes,
because it's keeps switching around.
Yeah.
The hotel, the north and west, the eastern part is station.
Yeah. So that's how
the hotel life.
It's part of the hotel. That's what I'm saying. The hotel.
You're right. It runs all.
So what we were talking about is the western part.
The northern, the whole northern.
You need to use a microphone. I'm just saying you need to use a microphone.
The whole northern portion is part of the hotel.
This is the whole northern part, and the eastern part here is part of the hotel. This is part of the members club. This is part of the members club. And this roof here is the roof area that was part of the members club. And this is the area that they would like to make open until 4 a.m.
Right. So the only change in method of operation is for the members club to go back to the 4 a.m. for that space. So that's the third application.
Well, okay.
The final application is,
Why, okay, I guess go through what they all are, but then we'll start with one.
however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Then the last application is they're having a new entity, which is Gansevoort LLC is taking over the hotel. So the ownership or the lease is transferred to that entity, the lease for the whole building, and that is going to hold the hotel license. Michael is still, ownership's the same. Michael still is running the show. No other operational changes, just all of the space that is hotel license, including the bowling alley, when we pull that back in, will still be under a hotel license. It's going to be a different entity, but the co-licensee is the same. So, why don't I have it with
It's the
So you're
it's the exact same ownership structure. It's just a new entity stuck in the middle because the lender wants a new entity stuck in the middle. That's the only reason.
So,
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Say the last part again.
It's my lender wanted a different entity for their own reasons to be in the middle, like a bankruptcy proof entity. It's a technical thing. It's literally the same exact ownership all the way through. It's just a new entity in the middle of the whole structure.
So was the Sean Lagoda that I see on here, he was on here before, or?
No, Sean, that's a different issue. Sean is coming into the management company, not, he's my minority partner in the management company. My father passed and I brought Sean, thank you. And I brought Sean in to work with me on management.
So the co-licensee, that management entity, is on the license now and will be on the new license. So that's going to be the same. Michael's entity is changing. And so we're just basically swapping out one entity for the other. Otherwise, everything is the same.
Okay,
Well, we have to file as a transfer. So the club is unaffected by that. It's a new entity is going to have the hotel.
got it, I think.
That's everything.
Okay. So why don't we start with the club part? Because so the club, you're removing the basement, cellar, bowling alley.
Just a part of it.
Space.
Yes.
And we are keeping for the club it's easier for me to say it because that way
The
I'm
gym and
the
yes.
fitness center
in the boardroom.
and that conference room.
Yes.
There. Okay. So, and then on the ground floor for the club, I just want to go through the whole thing because this keeps changing so many times, just with all that I just want to have clarity on each space. So the club has a separate door that you enter on 13th Street on the ground floor.
Sorry, that's for the, yes, I
I'm
apologize.
talking about the club. We're doing the club license right now.
Yes, the club for daily use for hanging out and lounging. Yes.
That's where you enter for the club.
Right, but the basement space would be removed, which just has a separate.
I'm not talking about the basement space, just
okay.
you enter the club from 13th Street.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the entry to the club.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the only entry to the club.
Yes.
Am I correct on that?
There's emergency exits, but yes, you're right.
Right. Okay, so you enter there, we have an enclosed exterior space there on the northeast corner, and then you have an interior space there.
Yes.
That's enclosed. And then there are stairs there that take the club members to the cellar.
Yes, ma'am.
And from there, the club members will now access the fitness center and the conference room.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that's how they get the access to that from the ground floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then they can go from there. There's one elevator. There's three elevators. The elevator that is the southernmost, rightmost elevator on the diagram is the elevator that's dedicated for club members to get to the rooftop.
Yes, ma'am.
And then they get to the rooftop and they come out of that elevator and they have the southern western side of the premises, which goes to the pool, which is not enclosed, and then that place that wraps around Ninth Avenue the bottom part of the diagram, which is the western side, and then that interior middle enclosed place that has, I believe, the walls retract and the roof retracts on both of these spaces. Okay. So the way it operates now, on the ground floor, you have, the music is, are there DJs in the interior space on the ground floor? No,
No.
it's just, so this is just what I'm trying to get clarity of.
I think, I mean, when we've had a couple of events, and I think that's on our license that we can have it for random events, but we've maybe twice ever had a DJ in the study. In the study.
In the study, which is that's the interior space of the ground.
Most interior of the space.
Right. And there's no live music and there's no, okay. Then when you go downstairs, all right, so let's go downstairs. So when you go downstairs, you still, the two elevators, are those other two elevators active downstairs?
They're active for hotel guests to be able to access the gym.
Okay. And then can the public use them to go up to the roof for the northern part of the roof?
No, because they would come in through, there's a separate entrance for them on 13th Street now.
So if somebody comes, okay, so I'll leave that conversation for the public part. All right, so they go downstairs, they cross over in the hallway, they get to the fitness center, there's no music or anything, there's nothing down in the conference room, that's your background music on everything.
People wouldn't,
Right, but there's nothing happening in the conference room, it's a conference room, it's not like a VIP dining room, it's a conference.
There's a permanent 20-person boardroom table.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay, and then upstairs, the pool, all right, so then what we have on the pool, what's the hours now for the pool area is?
I think it's 2 a.m. the pool area.
No.
Yes, it is. It is, it's the windows.
You're right.
Yeah. The doors have to be closed at midnight, but it's 2 a.m. No music after midnight.
And no music after midnight.
Right.
Okay, and you're looking to have the interior space
With the roof closed at midnight and the walls closed at midnight, back to 4 a.m., which is what it was originally.
Well, we can quibble over that because I don't know when originally it was that. It hasn't been that. I mean, I looked back to the stipulations going all the way back to 2004. And I haven't found anything that says that roof is open till, I'm just saying, if you could show me something that says that it was, that's fine. I have our resolutions. I don't have, well, if you have signed stipulations, you can hand them to me. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So our resolution is, I'm just going to say our resolution was our record and we had the same conversation according to what I've read in the resolutions. I was not on the committee then, so I don't know. But when I'm reading this, in 2004, the same conversation happened, or in 2005, where we said you had said certain things and then it was back. So I'm.
We didn't do the original license.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
We didn't.
Cotero did.
We didn't do the original license.
But you can just go by, look,
I'm saying,
I'm just telling you what I have in terms of the history.
but I'm saying I've seen resolutions, but I haven't seen any stipulations, and I'm not trying to be cute about it.
Well, I haven't
seen it.
either, so we have to
Okay,
go
so-
find, but I mean, but our resolution.
Resolution is not, doesn't necessarily bind the applicant.
No, it doesn't. It's a record of what was said at the meeting. So I'm just trying,
We're trying to pizza ticket as you are, because we weren't involved in the original license, but we.
Michael was always involved, so you may not have been involved, but Michael was involved.
Donna, we've run this roof as a 4 a.m. from the very, very beginning. And when you guys decided that we had to go to the SLA instead of working together, which was disappointing.
That's not quite true, but go ahead.
What wasn't?
Just go ahead.
We've always run it as a 4 a.m. I don't know what was untrue that I said, but when we ended up in front of the SLA, Commissioner Fan said, if we have no issues, which I know you know we've had no issues.
Can I just say, I'm going back to 2003, 2004, when you're saying it was always licensed at 4 AM. I'm just saying always licensed. I know what happened 2 years ago. I'm very clear on what happened up there.
Right.
Very clear on that. But you're saying it's always been 4 AM, and I just want to make sure that it's clear that there's ambiguity about it always being 4 AM. There's ambiguity right now on any of that rooftop being 4 AM. We're all trying to piece it together. And
Isn't it more important
wait,
that-
can I,
Sorry.
go ahead, Michael.
All I was gonna say, Donna, isn't it more important that we've been operating the hotel ourselves now for 5 or 6 years, and the club, and you've had no material.
We're not there. I'm just trying to understand what's there and what's changing. That's
Okay.
what I'm trying to run through here is what's
Okay.
there and what's changing. And so that's why, so. And for historical purposes of this,
Sure.
and part of the reason there have been no problems is there's been no 4 AM on the rooftop. So,
That's-
so what you're looking for is to have the 4 AM on that interior space. Is there any live music? Is there any DJs up on that interior
Yes,
space?
there are DJs on occasion, not just events.
Okay. And that currently stops at midnight.
No, the doors are always closed at midnight. The roof is always closed at midnight, but there are DJs that are sometimes there, different hours. I'm not gonna say, I don't know. Sometimes they're definitely later than that in that space, but as I've said, no one hears us do it.
Well. I don't think that's what's supposed to be happening. I think that the music was supposed to.
Only on the exterior.
Hmm?
The music was supposed to stop at midnight,
Right.
only on the exterior, not on the whole space.
Okay. Just give me 1 sec. Okay. So I think that's lays out the questions. Does anybody from the committee have anything? I know. Yeah. To the 4 AM. So that's what the change is. Yeah, it's got a retractable roof, which they're closing at 12. It's got glass walls around it, which close at 12. The speakers close off by 12 and it's background music only on the exterior.
No, at midnight, there's no music outside.
Right, but it closes at 12.
Yeah, the music
But-
closes absolutely, I mean,
but I'm
outside portion completely at 12.
When it's on the exterior, it's background
Right, yeah,
music.
yeah, of course.
That background music closes at
Yeah.
midnight and the walls close
Yeah.
at midnight.
Yeah.
We're asking for DJ sound in the retractable area to 4 AM.
Which already exists,
And how soundproof is this area?
soundproof enough that I make sure that the volumes are never high enough that you can hear it off property. Have spent personally, and Donna knows this, a tremendous amount of time.
You know, Michael, do me one favor, keep me, this is a community board meeting. I'm not here for that. Stop saying what I know and I don't know, because I'll come back at you and say, I don't know how much money you've spent. I don't
I
know.
didn't say money, I spent energy and time trying to make sure that you guys have no reason to complain about anything that we're doing operationally at this hotel.
Anybody else from the committee have anything on this? Okay, I'm gonna go to the public. Zach, do you?
Hi, Zach Weinstein, live at 92 Horatio Street. Oh, sorry. Zach Weinstein, 92 Horatio Street. So actually, I'm still a little bit confused about this application. I want to, acknowledge that Michael really has been doing good work and that things have been working a lot better at the Hotel Gansevoort than they have in the past. I'm obviously very troubled by the notion of the 4 a.m. rooftop. And what I'm still a little unclear about is the stipulations that currently exist. I had sort of been under the impression that it was no music after midnight on the entire rooftop. What is allowed? Are there any stipulations regarding music on this interior space, the interior club space with the retractable walls and ceiling? If there's going to, I'm not aware that there is any, that the community board has licensed any rooftops for 4 a.m. closing in the, recent last 10 years, let's say. Because of the retractable walls and retractable ceiling, I'm not at all sure how soundproof this space is, whether there is soundproofing. I understand that Michael has been doing his best to be real careful. What if there is, somebody else comes in and takes charge of this space? If there's a potential to have DJs, let alone live music up there at 4 a.m., I just think that we're setting ourselves up for major issues. This is the Hotel Gansevoort. It's not another establishment, but the music on the rooftop of the Standard has periodically been a problem. Not because of the difficulty of understanding what's happening on rooftops, because of the way sound travels, so it becomes very confusing where sound is coming from, and at the Standard because there had been constant turnover of managers, so that you're constantly dealing with new people. Again, that's not been the problem here, and not been an issue here, which I really appreciate. But the idea of the licensing, the stipulations, is to try and maintain a framework where it's not dependent on individuals and personalities. It's something that's applies no matter who's running the place. If there's going to, if I'm concerned about precedent, if this were a sort of traditional interior space, it was well soundproofed, we had a good operator, it would be one thing. It's not, it's the fact that it's not entirely, the soundproofing is questionable, the fact that stuff is retractable. 4 a.m. This is an issue. And the one question I do have is I'd really like clarity about what kind of music, what kind of music would be permitted if this were to stay open till later than 2 a.m.
Right.
That's about all I can say, but thank you.
Okay, thanks.
The only point I wanted to make in response to what Zach said is that the roof is open now. The space is being used, that indoor portion, with the DJ from time to time. If it was too loud, if it was bothersome, it would bother someone at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's not getting any louder at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So if it's not been a problem, then it's not a problem. And it's not that it would be a problem at 4, because if it's too loud, it's going to be too loud. It would have been too loud at 2. So it's going to be the same volume.
What it is it's continuing to expand the rooftop. And now I'll tell you, that when we came for the private members club, which I guess is also the hotel guests get part of that membership when they sign in. But you had the basement was like the high voltage sort of DJ, everything going on. Now the private members club is losing that space. So the only space they will have to party in is the rooftop, which is different than how it is now. Now it's the pool in this little area. But they can do whatever they want downstairs. It's more lively dancing, whatever. So this is going to be it. And that is, well, you have members that are paying a bunch of money to join a members club. And if something's open till 4 o'clock, they don't want to be sitting there quietly having their cocktails at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're partying. And before they could do that, which I know what the ads are like for the cellar and everything. And that's what was the understanding of that space. It would be DJs and loud and doing all of that. Now they don't have that ability there. So the only place they have the ability to do that, and this is like the people that are paying big bucks to do that, is up on the rooftop in a glass enclosed, not a solid wall space, but a glass enclosed space. That even with that being closed, the sound travels, and I'm fully aware of how sound travels out of an insulated glass enclosed place.
Let me respond to that. First of all, the size of that space is not increasing. So the space has the legal occupancy. Members are not precluded from going into the cellar. If they want to go into the cellar and they want to go to that bar and bowling alley, it's.
Oh, right, but they need to be around their people, not the rest of the public.
But if you're a member and you go with 5 friends, you can say, let's go.
Well, they
Let's
can
go
say
to
that,
bowling.
but
They can still go there.
I'll do that if they have space upstairs. You're speculating too.
You're speculating and that may not be true. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, I'm just gonna say one thing about this whole application. You keep like Donald, when I asked you what was the specifics on the music, you said nothing's changing, it's all the same. That's why I'm trying to get specifics here, because it's different ownership of everything. This is a private members club, then you have your hotel part, then you have the other cafe part, and then you have the restaurant that is not yours. So I'm just trying to, this is not one entity, these are 3 or 4 different entities, and I'm just trying to get clarity on the seating in each space and everything like that. So every time this comes up, and I understand why it keeps changing, but that we have clarity on what is changing, because it's not just one big building of everything. So how many seats are in that space?
In the glass enclosed report?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
this. Sorry.
It's like 40 seats. I don't have the exact count. I'll explain, like 40, 50 seats plus the bar, stand-up bar.
So there's 20 seats at the bar.
No, I'm saying there's like 40 to 50. I don't have the layout.
So on
of
Donald's, on the drawing that we have here, it says 20 counter stools. Are those referencing the stools along Ninth Avenue?
No, a lot of those are on the outside portion.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
on that exterior place along Ninth Avenue. So that's referencing that. Yeah, okay,
That's referencing that.
okay. And then the 12 tables and 39 seats.
That's on the inside.
That's so, but some of these, yeah. Right, so how many
I
seats
guess
are,
it must be 39. If you said that's what we listed as.
well, I don't know, because you've got seats around the pool area. No, I know, so, but it's listed as.
Yeah,
one
it's 12
thing.
tables and 39 seats.
So it's. I mean, I'd have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times 2. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 28. So about 40 seats, does that,
We have 39 seats.
Yeah. Yeah, so around 40, yeah.
okay. Right.
I'm sorry?
How much seating is being removed?
How much seating is being removed in the basement space?
I mean, see, this is what I mean. You act like this is one thing, but it's different licenses and you're switching things back and forth. So clarity on what's coming and going would be helpful.
Based upon the floor plan, it's 1 table and 18 seats.
No, no. There's the occupancy is in that basement 150 legal. I don't know how many seats there are. That's the.
But that occupancy includes the fitness center.
Everything.
I'm assuming the conference room.
Space.
So all those things that are not part of this,
I mean, you're removing the majority
of your seating.
60% of the seating that's inside in the private members club. Is that correct?
That's inaccurate because you're leaving out the whole ground floor space.
I'm talking about the bar areas, the seating areas that are used in entertainment areas.
But once again, if you saw what the interior of the club on the ground floor looked like, it's really elegant and beautiful. And
No, but
I'm talking about the cellar space.
yeah, we're moving the cellar space, but you can't say that there's no other bar space.
no, but what we're saying is late night bar space.
Of your total entertainment, eating, drinking area that's on the inside of the private members club, you're removing about 60% of it. Is that about right?
I guess from anything that's open after 2, yes.
No,
Because I have other spaces on the ground
I'm
floor, so-
asking you guys, how many seats do you have that are in the eating and drinking areas of the basement that are being removed? The club space to be removed. That's in the diagram.
Right, so yes, you're removing that section, but you're ignoring the fact that I can use the other.
It's a very specific question. How many seats are in that club space that's being removed?
I don't have that on the sheet, do I?
No.
This is.
No, that's one seat, there's 18 seats, it's this area. It's, oh, because that's the boardroom. There, that's the boardroom, the 18 seats. I don't know, there's 12 there. It's probably like 60, 70 seats. Yeah.
And is your membership numbers, they're all staying the same?
It hasn't grown as we had hoped. So the space isn't being utilized to the level we would have liked. So I'd rather it be a public venue and people get to enjoy the space.
And what I'm saying though, just back to Donna's point, so the only incised entity is the rooftop space. That's not really
That's not
interior. Well, what's the other,
floor has 2 AM license.
the which floor?
The ground floor has.
But that's not part of the club.
It is.
For where?
And seating on the ground floor part of the thing.
The main entrance has 2 rooms
Exterior too.
and there's. And it's
Okay.
all glassed in. Beautiful space. And one has a bar with a copper bar. The interior called the study has a copper bar. in.
I mean, I didn't even know what we were gonna say about this, but I mean, the 4 AM in a glass enclosed area with DJs and music is a problem for me. And especially since I felt more comfortable with that. I mean, 1 or 2 AM, but also having the downstairs for the club members to go to as the kind of, wild space.
So can we step
But
back
we
and
can-
focus on the other issues first, and then maybe we can come to a compromise on the roof? As far as that change. So can we approve the corporate change? Because the corporate change is just strictly, it's something over substance.
Yeah, but they've got operation.
Yeah, but see, the same thing, it's the same thing I'm gonna say about the corporate change. Again, I just want to make sure that I have some stipulations in place that are clear. And even with that includes, hang on, get my microphone. So, I mean, the corporate change,
Transfer.
we can hear everything you're doing.
Sorry, what's the problem with the corporate change, man?
Well, let me just,
Which one?
that,
Transfer.
Transfer to Gansevoort LLC of the ownership.
Just give us 1 second.
Yeah, of course.
Find the paperwork.
Not a problem.
goes With it. Because- So that's.
it's this one. It is this one, I believe. It's not the one that lists all the, no, it's the one that lists all the names. It's the other one. So, right, am I correct in that, Donald? The transfer is the one that was put in as trade name, Gansevoort Hotel, Recoin, Station, Rooftop. It's this one. Okay. Okay, so the transfer itself seems clear.
Straightforward. Okay, great. So that's not a problem.
Well, but
What?
it gets stipulations on it. I mean, I just, again,
Like what stipulations?
well, we have a license, you're transferring, this isn't like you just stick a name on here, it's not a corporate change, it's it's a transfer, it's a new application. That's how it's filed, is as a new application. This is why I'm just gonna say that this is why you can't track back and we can't track back. Because it's just, oh, we're just doing this, oh, it's just this, and it doesn't get nailed down. So what I'm really trying to do here is just to get some of this nailed down. So when it changes a year from now or 2 years from now, we all know we just all know what we're talking about, and it's always changing, Michael. It's just the fact of running a business. So
Just to be.
Just to be clear, this is the transfer application. And on the cover or on the. So it doesn't list any of the before, is anywhere, is that correct?
No, because there is no before, because it's not a corporate change. Nothing's listed from before. Does that answer your question? Right. So the ground floor area is the cafe on the,
Separate license. Are you talking, you're talking about the membership club?
no, I am talking about what's transferring here, which is said to be the hotel license, LaCoin, Station, and the rooftop loft.
Right.
So that's,
Cafe,
you,
sorry.
but
And it will include also we're also transferring the cafe license, which is to the same people.
what cafe license? That's not,
It's a separate liquor license.
that's not part of
I
this.
don't need to do that. Okay,
You're not doing that now.
okay. Okay. But the parties.
Right? Are we correct on that?
Yeah. It's not, he's right, because it's not, Gansevoort LLC is not the holder of that, the individuals are, so, separate, sorry, yeah, it's just a separate license, same people.
It's not.
The cafe that is on the southeast part of your establishment is not part of this application. That's how I understand it.
It's a license, it's not. part of it.
Something may change next month, but for right now, this is this.
Yeah,
Fine.
Southwest, sorry about that.
Okay, Southwest, right. So this has, so that, this is why I want to say this, because the hours of operation. Hotel 24/7, cellar, ground, mezzanine, roof, 7 to 4 a.m. daily. So this is why I just want clarity on this exterior ground floor 7 to 12, because the ground floor that is LaCoin is not 4 a.m.
No.
I understand that, Michael, but this is what I'm looking at in front of me. So this is why I just want clarity on this, so that we have something that lists the hours for the spaces. So what do you want? Well, they could be, but they're here now and they're not written, so.
The hours for Laquan are till 2. Laquan's interior, I believe, is till 2, the exterior is till midnight.
Michael, give us 1
Not a
second,
problem.
because I'm just gonna say, this is complicated for all of us, because none of this is written down so that anybody knows what we're talking about. You know this intimately, and I've spent hours going back through back papers, which I should not have to do to share this with the committee, some of who have not been sitting on here for the past 20 years to know the hotel. So just give us a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, I see a question on sort of a different train of thought. The 3 elevators.
Yes, ma'am.
Are they, cleaned?
There's an electronic system that we can do it, and there's key cards,
Will the hotel guests get electronic key cards?
but it limits where you can go by your key card. So
Exactly, so they get a key card related to all 3 elevators or just 2?
They use 2.
And this can. Second out, that's a good question. So the 3rd elevator is for members only.
It's for members only, yes. But if they're in the basement, I believe they can use it from that access point. Because they're guests when they're members when they're guests, so I believe they can access it from that basement.
They shouldn't be able to access any other elevator, actually. They should have to use that one elevator because that's the elevator.
To go to that section of the roof, yes, but they have separate key access. And that if they're in the basement.
The hotel guests get a key card.
Yes, ma'am.
That key card operates first elevator, second elevator to their room.
Yes.
What else can we access with hotel guests with that key card?
Different key card.
So the key card, they get 2 key cards, they get a key card.
If they're going to those spaces, yes. Not all the guests ask to be members while they're there. Not everyone that even realizes it's not something that we necessarily promote, but if people ask, they are entitled to that.
They pay extra.
What, sorry, ma'am?
To pay extra?
No.
If they ask at the desk, then they get a key card that's they can use in the 3rd elevator.
From the basement.
So they have to go down to the basement.
To use.
But the club members can access the elevator from the basement,
From the basement.
and access the ground floor.
No, not unless it's an ADA need. Not unless it's a.
So the club members go to the basement before they go to the-
Yes, ma'am.
But now they're not going to the basement very much.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
You're taking away so much seating from the club members in the basement. But how did they get to the basement?
There's a staircase that we improved and beautified to take them there.
Interesting.
It's not the most efficient thing, but it is what it is.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
Not a problem. Thank you for the question.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about hours of what is the hotel.
Exterior ground floor. Exterior ground floor. Yeah, the interior is 7. Yeah, that's right. The inside, I believe actually that Laquan is technically a 4 a.m. license on the interior and midnight on the exterior portions. And the back corner is 2 a.m. The club corner is 2 a.m.
That's not correct.
Yeah, pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is because it was always the hotel license.
Ground floor interior 7 to 2 with exceptions for holidays. In fact.
All right, doesn't matter. I don't run it that way, so it's okay.
Huh?
But I don't run it that way, but that's fine. We can clarify that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, that I do have stipulation. I mean, that I think I have signs thing and I have those that and what I.
Then this is wrong what we submitted. I apologize.
Okay, so what I'll tell you what I have.
Okay.
I have the cellar, which was under the club that would now go under the hotel, was open till 4 a.m. daily. After 2, which is now irrelevant. Is it irrelevant? Well, after 2 a.m. customers exit via Ninth Avenue.
Right.
Right.
Well, that was when it was a club thing. That was when it was member of club. The club, if guests went down there, they weren't to go to 13th Street, they would go out.
Right. So is that still going to be the case or not? Are they coming back up to 13th Street? I just want to know if I'm eliminating that stipulation or not.
I would like to eliminate that.
But
I don't think that there is any club space anymore that's past 2, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I don't care about your internal logistics about the club space. I just care about how the traffic or how people are, because I think part of the that kept everything on.
I think that's affected by whether or not we agree to 2 a.m. staying as the rooftop issue, because then it won't matter. Then they'll have to leave by 2 a.m. anyway, because I have no space for them till 4 a.m.
So if there.
Donna, the logic was previously that if the roof space was closing at 2 for them, for the club members, the only place they could go to was the basement space from 2 till 4.
Right.
So they had to exit on Ninth Avenue.
Right.
If the club on the roof is still going to close at 2, if that's what we all agree upon at the end of this discussion, then it's a moot point, because the club members, as a club member, have to leave the building to go into these other spaces. They can't go back through the spaces to get to the other spaces, which is how we operate now.
So the cellar, I think Donald had marked on here that the entry, though, to the main entry to the cellar was that space was on Ninth Avenue. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Am I correct in that? Okay.
It's in the nightclub space in the basement. Yeah.
Okay. So from that space, though, they could come up and go through the hallway there where the elevators are and
exit on 13th Street as
Okay.
well.
So yeah, so if
So they
a
can.
club member finds his way into.
No, not a club member. I'm talking, because the basement now, that the space
Uh-oh.
I'm talking about is a nightclub space.
So Ninth,
So that's-
anyone
that's-
the nightclub has to leave Ninth Avenue, yes.
Ninth Avenue. Okay,
Yes, that's fine.
okay.
But I have no problem, Donna, saying that if a club member walks around the building, ends up
You're not
entering.
gonna- I don't want to deal with, I just do not want to complicate this.
Okay.
They're not supposed to be, we're supposed to be in the club space. They leave the club space, they're the first member of the public, they do what they want as a member of the
Okay.
public. They're no longer.
So they have to exit Ninth Avenue anyway. Okay, great.
Right. And then. Okay, so that's what I have as the hours, the cellar. The gym and that's the club, I don't care. And it's recorded music, DJs, live music in that cellar for the public.
Mhm.
Is there still karaoke?
Yes,
Okay, and karaoke. Okay, so this stays all the way it is. There's no longer any karaoke since you've removed this. There's no karaoke with the private members club
Correct.
because that was down here. Okay.
Correct.
Patron dancing.
I'm sorry,
Patron dancing is dancing in the cellar.
in the cellar, yes.
Okay, so that's still right. There's no promoters, no third party promoters, none of that in the cellar. Okay. Then I have for the ground floor interior, which is talking about the space that was Chester and all of that. I have, it was 7 to 2 a.m. daily for the interior space for the, with exceptions for holidays. So I had 7 to 4 on Halloween and New Year's Eve. And then for the exterior, I have 7 to 12 Sunday to Wednesday, 7 to 1 Thursday to Saturday, background music only, music ends at midnight, closed caption on TVs only, and the windows close at 11 p.m.
It's fine.
Okay. And that space on here is this is space. It's the inside out. It's really the inside. This is an inside outside. Okay. And then, okay, so that's that one. And then with the, going back to the holidays, the exterior for the holidays is 1 o'clock on Sunday. It's part of the following holiday weekend. It's a whole Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, and at 2 a.m. on Halloween and New Year's Eve, regardless of the day of the week that it is. That
Sure.
was something that we had in there. I think it was
Right.
negotiated with you based on whatever
Okay.
happens on those specific holidays.
I actually had those
Yeah.
conversations.
It was a whole thing. So that is, and then I think what is vague to us all is once you get to the rooftop, the part of the rooftop that is part of the hotel license is the northern part
Mhm.
and the eastern part where you have the 2 restaurants. Is it 2 restaurants?
Right.
You have
There's a, like a rooftop restaurant and then there's Station.
okay. And those, you think they're open till 4? You're not operating that way at all.
Very rarely are they open. for.
Right, and so, and I don't think it was either 3, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna be honest, I haven't found
We
any.
used to
I know it
operate-
was.
We 100% used to operate it till 4, but we
I thought we were done.
rarely are open till 4.
Right, so, so that's that part, one of, and the music on the rooftop is for that part of the rooftop, not the, is what?
There are occasionally DJs in that room.
For the space or just in that
The-
space,
in the-
is it in northern
We
space,
call, no, in the loft space.
which is that northern space, I believe.
No, can I come over and show? you?
Yeah, please.
Sorry. We require names for everything, right, to make it easy for our team. We call.
That's what I mean.
Garden,
Oh,
this is
that's,
called Eden, and this is called the loft usually.
so it's the interior
Yeah,
space
right
that
here.
you're saying,
What you're seeing right here is where we put a temporary DJ.
and that's, so,
That's our loudest space because it's most purely.
and that's the in,
We all have that diagram?
yes, it's in the multitude of things. So Michael, that is the interior space of that part of the rooftop.
Yes. Yeah, but this is actually better. So
Okay, so that's the interior, so this exterior space only has background music, that part, and then these parts. Okay. Okay. Katie, what diagram do you have?
It has something bigger, but I'm just making.
Okay.
Follow.
Okay, so you have DJs are in the interior, I'm just gonna put interior rooftop space that's called the loft.
Japanese restaurant.
Okay,
Totally shaped it.
and so we're not sure on the hours on everything, but it's something. I mean, the restaurant I know is closing at 11 or 12 or so, and even this has a last, okay. All right. I think that covers the hours for the hotel. And I think it covers the music for the hotel. Did I miss anything? No. All right, so that's the transfer. I think it's important. I mean, these are the hours it's been. We are not in business session, so I can't say what we're agreeing to, but this is what has been there. I'm just trying to have clarity on even what we're talking about. You need to use the microphone, Donald, please.
No, doesn't seem to be stipulations. You got resolutions. It's confusing. If we could have a stipulation on this hotel, finally, I think it would be great.
And if you are looking for that, what I would like to suggest is that the whole top floor is not open till 4 a.m.
I'll concede the Eden space, the membership club side of it, but I'm not conceding the rest of the roof. I'm not.
Well, I don't even know if you have it, so that's fine. Okay. I mean, it's a the restaurants up there.
The space around the outside, right?
Right.
That's when just over 10 years ago. That's a long time
That's
at
part
this
of the
point.
club now.
But that's where there were some issues with.
And that's what he's willing to concede on.
When it was a Bruce Hanks, I think it was just looking at when he was the GM, and spent time dealing with him on, and it was the outer parts of the north side and the outer parts of the east side.
And those close at midnight.
And and those were the main areas with issues. And then the rest of it is the interior, is that correct? That north part?
Can I come over and point again, please, just to make
sure? Yeah. Do you have the diagram down?
Yeah. So you're referring to this, right? This is done at midnight. I mean, it's not closed at midnight until we use it at midnight. It's open until 2. This is doors closed, roof closed at midnight. It's open to this wall now. No music, open until 2, closed the wall, everything closed at midnight. No sound out here, no sound out here at midnight. This is what we have licensed. This is run as a high-end Japanese restaurant. This is actually not the layout here anymore. But
and
this is a high-end restaurant. There's glass wall here, glass wall here. There's some outdoor seating with. I think we rarely have anyone sitting out there past midnight, but there's no music past midnight. This is a PDR now with sliding glass walls, part of the Seishin experience. Have hot food now, by the way. Come check it out. And then this has got sliding glass walls as well to keep the sound in. This is background music only, and really, I'm adamant. And then this is real walls. That's
what I'm saying. So this is interior.
Yeah, that's our interior space.
And that's what I'm saying, that this is sort of 3-season or whatever you want.
No,
it's heated. It's covered because it's covered glass. Yeah.
But what I meant is this actually interior or is this a covered exterior?
It's covered exterior. It has, but it has sliding.
No, I understand, but that's why I was saying that this part
is open.
Were okay. I'm just trying to remember where.
Wait, can I just say one thing? We have to use the microphone. You can please us, but you have to use the microphone so it's on the record.
I really do think it's important to recognize the fact.
I'm just trying to reacquaint with.
Okay, not
where I appreciate from having been up there, but not a long time.
So I'm seeing the changes that.
So there've been some walls, is that
sliding walls and stuff that were done there. Yeah.
Okay, and added and removed. So you've reconfigured the.
We put another roof, there were holes in that original roof. We put something in between that so that there was no holes, the sound going out of the roof, and we put sliding walls in there.
Got it. And that's the north part.
That's the north part. Right. On the east part where you have Seishin, we put sliding walls as well. But that's really a true high-end Japanese dining experience. You're sitting at an omakase bar. There's background music, but it's, you know, and then on the outside, there's a couple of speakers. But music's off at midnight and it's never loud out there because it's really a proper dining experience. We reset up the loft space, the proper interior space with beautiful banquettes. People do dine there now, but no doubt the music does come up, but that's our loudest interior space on the roof. And by adding the glass walls, and operationally, I'm hard on my managers. Like if I see a door open and I think they're too loud on the inside, I'm like, no, keep the doors closed between the spaces. Like I'm super hardcore about this stuff because I don't want these conversations.
Just trying to understand
So,
how it's all
yeah.
set up.
Yeah. So
So in terms of the music up there, it's background.
on the north terrace and in Seishin, it's background. On the interior space, it's not background.
So, and you're under the understanding that you have you're not using 4 AM up there. I mean, no, I mean, not,
for
I say should
private-
not
for
open
private
4
events.
AM.
For private events, it's more often used past 2 AM. But the reality is I want that flexibility. And sometimes there are nights where it's going really well and I'm still making money and I'll keep it open. If the moment I don't feel like I'm making money, I shut it because I'm going to lose money by keeping it open.
Right.
So
So a stipulation could be that there's only background music
on the north and Seishin, that's fine.
on the north end Seishin. So the only place that there are DJs and live
Get the
music
hotel license
with a
on the roof?
hotel license
Yeah,
on the
yes.
roof.
Yes, that's
Is it
fine.
that
I would never
inside
put a
space?
DJ. I would never put a DJ in Seishin or the North Terrace anyway. It would make no sense.
Right, but I'm just trying to, again, so we have this, that let's say Seishin goes away and it becomes some other thing. A
100%.
DJ may be more acceptable with something like that, so I'm trying to make sure we have stipulations in here
100%.
that whatever.
So just. So
The north. I don't know what you
North
call it.
Terrace.
The north terrace. Okay, that's what you call it, north terrace.
Yeah.
And the
That's the
Seishin,
garden.
They call it the garden. My staff calls it the garden. I call it the North Terrace.
okay. The north terrace in the east part, which is the Seishin space.
Yes.
I mean, is it reasonable to say that that's going to remain dining area going forward? In meaning the distinction from the inside, because I think that that's what Donna's, that's what Donna's driving at.
The
like,
North Terrace, how it's used a lot of the time is small private events for like 20 to 30 people on one side and some people drinking and having some hors d'oeuvres on the other side. It's not proper dining on a normal basis. It's
Right.
meaning it's cocktails.
It's a little bit of flex space during the premium times.
Yeah, it's
And
flex
then,
space.
and then a little later. I think that the concern is the little later, not
Right.
the, you know, the time where those events are happening, which, I mean, and whenever, it won't be offensive, but they don't end that late, you know.
No.
Then you still want to use the space, but I think that the concern is the impactfulness of that use.
And guys,
And
I
so-
appreciate that, but that is truly why myself and Sean are super hyper diligent about not letting this be a problem. We don't want to have these conversations with you guys. I hate getting phone calls from not Donna.
You haven't.
So
gotten
sometimes
it
with Donna, and I haven't got one in a long time from you, there's a reason. Because I don't want to have these conversations. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. Like,
Okay,
I've dealt with this for years. I was the recipient of angst because of other people's actions for years, and I don't want to deal with it. So I come on very hard on my staff about this
Yeah.
stuff.
okay, Katie, go ahead.
You're talking about the sliding glass walls. Under what conditions do you slide them open?
Amazing weather, just on amazing weather days. Otherwise, it's closed. So fine.
What time do you close them?
I don't close them on great weather. I monitor the sound levels in the alternative on those days. Oh, sorry. On the North Terrace, they're not allowed out there. There's no sliding walls there.
Those don't slide.
On the west, there's no sliding wall. I don't have.
What about on the north? Does the north, the north opens?
The north open, sliding wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the problem. That's the.
That's the middle area that you're talking about.
It's right here.
Yeah, but it looks different. If there's a picture of it, you can see it, website. Oh,
This question.
sorry. I'm sorry.
So,
Yeah. And I have no complaints, so I don't understand. I appreciate the concern, but I don't understand the issue here. We're not gonna.
I'll tell you the issues. I mean, you know, you refer to your partner as high level. He was actually operated one of the most problematic places that we had for a number of years, which was the Windsor.
Me.
I understand this a long time ago.
Yes.
And there are members of the community who have significant issues with him as a result of the operation, the Windsor, when that began. I'm just.
I hear you, but the fact
I'm
is
just
he's
saying that
employed
that's why
this company.
there's concerns because that space also changed and evolved, and it went from not an issue location to a problem very quickly. And it was also about windows along West 4th Street that weren't supposed to be open or whatever, and suddenly were open and created issues. These are all the touchstone areas. No, I'm just saying, so what I'm trying to do is to help this conversation along, so you can get what you want, but still address the issues that Donna's trying. So I it's not questioning you as I'm managing the space. It's just what is.
I appreciate Sean's history with this board, but the reality is Sean has worked for me in London and then here. And then when my father passed, I needed to have someone come in and help me with some issues. And I made a choice to make him a partner, which I thought was the right thing to do because he's worked diligently for me for 5 or 6 years now. And, people got to get paid,
I know, but what I'm saying is that it was more to illustrate that a place can go very quickly from no issues to issues. And it's not about you, but it's just, this is an area that you use in a particular way. That's why I started off. The question is it predominantly dining or is it, mostly the outside?
I guess what he's getting to is why I was raising the things, because is there something we can put in here that says that this would be used for sit-down dining or something like that? Anything that defines or clarify how the space is being used now, that we can put in a stipulation that isn't centered on you. Because that's what I'm trying to do here.
The North Terrace, I could say that as of midnight, because I don't have cocktail parties after midnight, would be sit down because it is being operated that way anyway.
The North
Terrace.
I'm quite frank, I'll tell you the truth. What I'm more concerned about actually is the East Terrace, because that doesn't have, the North Terrace is glass enclosed.
So, okay, so I'll say mid.
So it's more the east side that is open air part of it. That is the part that.
I have no problem saying that as of midnight.
I don't have a problem, just to be clear, there's no problem with the way it's operating now. I'm just trying to do something that ensures that it keeps operating sort of the way it's operating now. So how do we come to that? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I mean, I'm going to be really straightforward. When we renovated the hotel, we made a choice to change our methods of operation to push people to sit on our roof far more than they used to, because we wanted to get higher room rates and felt that at the end of the day was the most important thing. So if you wanted me to say that as of midnight, it's always sit down service on those areas, seated service or whatever, that's not a problem. I'm already doing it as of 8 p.m. So it doesn't really matter to me. That's fine. The East Terrace and the North Terrace.
When you're saying earlier, making sure those glass doors on the terrace were closed and
I did not say that. I said I misspoke because I was really talking about the West Terrace and the pool area. I do not want to commit to when those doors close. Background music and sit down service, I would hope would be a fair compromise, because the reality is we're not having problems there. We just aren't, and we super diligent about the volume levels there, because I don't want there to be an issue.
So Michael, then let me ask you this. How does the interior space go to that exterior space? Is there one door there that goes from?
There's two. I believe there's two. You see them on the drawing, I assume. There should be two.
Yeah, I see two openings. I see two openings. So I would think that you would have no problem saying that anytime there's anything other than background music on the interior space, you'll make sure that those doors are closed at all times. I mean, what's the problem with?
I don't have a problem with it, except for the fact that it really doesn't functionally work. I'm being honest, it doesn't function work.
Well,
I haven't had a
well,
problem
I'll
with
just
that.
tell
I
you-
don't have a problem. I designed the sound system in there.
Okay, that's, I'm just gonna cut you off right now. That's great, but if you want a DJ in there till 4 o'clock in the morning at entertainment levels, most likely with a glass enclosed space that you don't want to commit to closing
So you're
the
saying
glass
the
to.
windows, if the outer windows are open, if the outer windows are open, I have to, if I have a.
Yeah, if the outer windows are open
Okay,
and there's not background music on that interior space, those outer windows need, the doors need to be closed if you want to keep the alternative is you close I think the doors need to be closed.
if I have.
If you have anything other than background music in the interior space,
Okay.
the doors,
And the glass wall's open, then I'll do it. Okay, that's fair. If the north wall is open, meaning the outer glass wall is open. Okay, not a problem.
Wait a minute, but that.
We have an accurate diagram because on the diagram, I have the doors open to an open air terrace, to the.
no, it's glass enclosed.
It's probably not inaccurate, because that's not the one that's depicting that area specifically for the license.
So where are the doors that we're talking about? Can I show them?
This is all sliding wall. This. And this too. This is open.
But are these? Bring it up.
What do you call the room again? What do you call this room?
The loft.
Correct, okay. I'm looking at what's done.
The loft, and then the area. No, behind it, you see like, little window, that stays the wall. Okay, you're seeing it through a clear glass wall, and it looks like it's part of.
Okay, what's this opening? Has to be closed
Not a problem.
because that's part of your private members club.
No, this is, oh, yes, this.
And you can't have the private members going in here. So that's the door that I'm talking about. So that's gonna be closed and it's not accessible to anybody that's coming from that area. The only way people can get to here is if they come from these two elevators
Yeah.
and go this way. Nobody from this elevator, in theory, should be going here because it's separate. It's a private members club.
That would be a hotel guest, they can go out.
If they're a hotel guest and they've joined to be a member, they're a member. And they can leave the members and go back downstairs and take a separate elevator up to access this. That's what they're supposed to be doing.
Also, doors.
Those are the two doors now.
Yes, what we're discussing is that when these doors are open, if there's loud music in here, this wall has to be. It's otherwise I have to have these doors closed.
I thought that was asking to close all.
Either close it's entertainment music.
Level music in
And
there,
the windows are open,
and the outer windows are open.
right?
So.
Yep. No, it's fine. And outer open, and that is not time contingent. Michael, that's not time contingent. In other words, if you have a DJ at 5 o'clock and those outer windows are open, I still expect the interior doors to be closed.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay. Yeah, we've done the hours. I mean, you're very clear that you're not. You think you have 4 AM. I think you have 3 or 4 AM.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's what you said actually before is 3 or 4 AM, but you're not operating it that way.
Very
because you're
rarely,
Not, so, but you
every once in a while
want
we do.
to be able to. And so we've got background music only on that north and east side and seated service after midnight on that eastern side.
Seated, yes.
Yep. I'm not doing that for the north side. It hasn't.
Okay, thanks.
Fine.
But I'm using it then. But
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so that's the transfer.
Okay,
Okay. So what's next?
The only other issue is
The basement, are we okay?
change it out.
So now we're going alteration. So the transfer we're okay with, so I can put that one over here, okay. So now we're going the alteration on which, so we'll do the alteration on the hotel to remove the space.
Parts removing this.
The alteration, right, I'm sorry, to add the space,
Right, to add the basement space to the hotel and take it away from the other.
So, and that's the only alteration to the hotel, aside from your whole
I believe so, yeah.
transferring of the license. You're just adding that cellar space to it.
It's really gonna be effective for a month or two to get the temp permit on the new application. So it's kind of like temporary measure.
Right.
That's actually included in the other application, right?
Yeah, but so
Well, let me just explain. So you're supposed to transfer what you have. And the new hotel license is going to include that cellar space that was part of the club. But we can't include that until it is part of the current hotel license, which is why we're going to the trouble with you and the SLA to do an alteration for the existing club license, because that's not going to remain in effect very long, because it's all going to be transferred to the new entity.
Are they moving faster?
Are we moving
This is
some things, yes, something. It's not taking longer to get filing receipts, so everything changes. Sometimes it gets better, but it's headed in the right direction.
Okay, so the alteration, so really, you're adding this onto the hotel license, and then that whole thing is going to transfer over.
It makes it easy
the
to
other one. So
transfer
the
it all.
whole thing was transferred. So I include that. That's included, well, it's not really.
Well, this is, Donald is coming to us now, but this gets filed first, then the next one gets filed. When the second that's done, the next one is filed. Is there?
It's together because it's going to be a while before anybody at the SLA looks at it, and they do alterations pretty quickly. In about 2 months, they approve alterations.
So this one will be filed in terms of the transfer new hotel. This is part of that because it will have been transferred over by the time that one's done.
By the time someone at the SLA looks at the transfer.
The paperwork will be in
Yes,
first, so that's all that matters really, is when your paperwork is in, right? Right, okay. Okay. So that's the alteration to the hotel, is to add the cellar space that's open till 4 with DJs, karaoke, bowling alley. Is a bowling alley there? People using it?
Yes.
Good, right. And that's it on that. Are we clear? Okay, any questions? I think. Okay. All right, so then the last one then is back to the first one.
Okay, so can I say something?
What?
If you guys will work with me when I come back about that, I would like to keep my outdoor seating, I would like to keep my outdoor seating that we were allowed to do into the plaza, which really doesn't affect anyone. If you guys can say to me now that it's not a commitment, but that you guys will work with me, because I would like to keep that when things.
So you want me to go through that with you right now?
No, I'm saying, no.
No, let me, it's complicated, Michael, so let me just tell you.
Yeah.
The way you've been operating that.
Yeah.
Is totally not in compliance.
Why is that?
So I'm talking about the space that is outside of the coin.
Right.
Like right outside of there, and you have that outdoor seating that's within the interior building line. Right, that's heated and everything, and then you put the sidewalk cafe outside of that.
Right, the DOT gave us permission. We're not allowed.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying anything about that.
Okay.
But just to be clear on that, the sidewalk there is, I believe, I measured it. It's 19.5 or 6 or 7 inches wide. It wasn't quite 20 feet, and it was blowing, and I had to hold the tape measure down with the chair. But that sidewalk, the sidewalk part.
Yeah.
Is about 19.5 feet wide.
Okay.
Okay. You're on a global corridor.
Okay.
That part of Ninth Avenue is a global corridor. So that means you need a 12-foot clear path.
Okay,
So that leaves you with
not enough space. to
eight, no, you can do something with 8 feet or something like that to do something, right?
Okay,
And just so you know, it's 12 feet or 50% of the sidewalk, whichever is greater.
why doesn't the whole rest of that area count? Because we use less
And
space.
I'll show you
We-
right now. I anticipated this question,
Yeah.
so come here.
We use less space than everyone else is doing.
I'm just gonna tell you one thing. All of Ninth Avenue is wrong. That whole, the 2 blocks, the same thing's gonna happen with those Caminos. The same thing is gonna happen with Colebrook, and the same thing's gonna happen with your coffee cafe. This is the plaza.
Right.
All this brick is the plaza. It's a rentable plaza space. It's city plaza space. So that sidewalk is the sidewalk. And you've been using it, as has everybody on the block has been using that as though, oh, the plaza is a sidewalk. And the sidewalk is kind of like what I can use as long as there's some space there for people to walk through, which people have been walking through the middle of your space, which or on the cobblestones. I'm just going to say that I've gotten numerous emails from people, not just about you, because it goes all the way up to 14th Street, about what the heck, I have to walk on the cobblestones. Why can't I walk? But that's not the issue. The issue really is the rules. And the rules are what I just stated to you, that it's a 12-foot clear path that you need. And so I don't think anybody, I can't speak for the committee and I can't speak for the public. I don't think that somebody's necessarily going to have a problem with you having the sidewalk cafe out there. But you cannot have the sidewalk cafe that you've been having out there because it's not compliant. I mean, and the other thing I just want to point out to you is where you have the tree pits. Right, there's one tree pit in front of the one that's sort of in the middle of your area. You still need to maintain the 12-foot clearance there. Because if the tree pit were off to the side of your sidewalk cafe, like over here, and this is your sidewalk cafe, then it could be 8 feet. But if the tree pit is here, right outside, you still need to maintain that 12-foot clear path. So you in front of it, yes. So when you go and measure it, because I was out there because I had a feeling this would come up. So when you're out there and measure it, I think there's plenty of room for you to have seating. But there's just not, and if you want to, you might have to cut it off and start it again if it's not worth it for you to do it around the tree path. But you can't have the seating you've been having. By a kind of big strength.
Gave us the permits to do. It's not like we're doing something that
DOT gave you the permits under the temper. Yeah, you have to see it. You can use this one if you want to just stand here and speak, but so DOT gave you the permits to do that.
Exactly like we're using.
You haven't come to, that's under the temporary program.
Right, I applied in July.
So-
Don't know what the result will be.
Yes, so that's what the problem is, because nobody's been enforcing anything and they didn't, do anything over the whole temporary program, I'll just say. But now they have the rules and there are the rules. You can go on the Dining Out website and read them all. And I'm not telling you something that I'm not going to be telling you for the coffee shop, and certainly not going to be, Dos Caminos and Colebrook are going to be hearing the same thing, because I asked Dos Caminos one day when I walked by, is this your property? And they said yes. And I wasn't going to argue with anybody because it's the temporary program and why bother, which is why you haven't gotten a phone call from me, even though I've gotten numerous letters from people, because I'm like, it's a temporary program. We'll sort it out when we have rules.
That's right.
Well, I took pictures too. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, no, but that's it. No.
I'm just trying to
So-
find a picture. So that's the 2 trees.
No, I think,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's which trees are you looking?
That's
Oh, the trees, yeah, they're behind us. I thought those were in the thing, they're behind them, yeah.
So,
so just.
I actually have a photo here.
stay here. Well, yeah, this is,
Yeah, no, I know the tree.
yeah, and then.
I paid for that tree. I had to replant it when it got killed when we built the hotel.
I've got a photo, but can I just explain what we're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at in the
go.
photo? I don't want to talk out of turn here.
No, go, just, but you need a microphone, so.
I'll go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, briefly, I just want to say this is a real problem. It's not just.
Just go up to the microphone, yeah.
So Zach Weinstein, 92 Horatio again. the issue with the sidewalk seating is a real problem. It's not the sidewalk seating per se. If there is space, and I think there is, having a sidewalk cafe is not an issue. But what with the Hotel Gansevoort and all the other operators on the east side of Ninth Avenue going north to 14th Street have been doing, there's been a complete appropriation, a privatization of public space. They've taken over the entire public sidewalk with Sidewalk Cafe. This photo will help sort of, I think, explain it. This is the area in front of the Gansevoort Hotel. This what curved line here is the actual curb, the sidewalk curb. The area with the cobblestones to the right of that curb is the public plaza. And during this nice weather, the entire sidewalk, the area between the curb and the building property line, has been taken over by Sidewalk Cafe seating. Both for the hotel, for Dos Caminos, for Colebrook, everybody up there has been doing it. And it really is an issue. Okay, let me just hand this up.
Right.
I'm not saying whether it's legal or not. I'm just saying, I think it's one of the nicest things about the meatpacking district is that you have like a restaurant row like that.
The reason we want to all talk about it now is just because it can probably be resolved now, the actual part, but from the liquor licensing part, we may be able to resolve that.
Now,
So
instead of having you have to come back.
Okay.
We're gonna get so many of these, if I can resolve some of this at this point, so that I can waive you having to come back and we just sign something.
So whatever I can get from the DOT, you guys will approve as long as. the DOT
well, that's a separate, but what we're talking about is just the hours of what we're
Right.
most concerned with.
I know you guys are trying, we're already doing 10 and 11 or something like that. It
That's
happens
great.
to be a spot where I was hoping you guys would be more flexible because where it is, there's literally no residents. And so it's a cool thing to have it. We honor it because we have an obligation to honor it, but there are definitely evenings in the summer where we could have had people staying later into the evening. And personally, I think one of the sad things about the meatpacking district is there is no sense of vibrancy after 9 p.m. in the meatpacking anymore. And I think a lot of people do miss having that. So I would like to be able to go till 11 during the weekend, 12 on the weekends, but like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But if it's not possible, it's not possible.
Ask you a question has anybody resolved the vehicle issue?
What's the vehicle issue?
Nobody can get out of there?
Yeah, because
3 cars can make that turn at the top when the light changes.
But that has nothing to do with where we are.
Well,
No, you're saying.
I'm just saying, it just makes
Like you're saying.
it just makes, that's,
Well, it's better than when it was when you had 6 lanes across and there was like complete mayhem where cars were going like this, if you guys all remember. So it's totally different vibe from what it was. So.
but it just seems there's a lot of different ideas about what things should be, and they're not quite all aligning to make that reasonable at the moment. I'm not saying that that's not in the future, but that just seems,
Well, listen, it's something that came up at the bid meetings and I don't know if Donna was a participant that day. I think that a lot of people in the bid and we don't control it, you guys control it, but a lot of people in the bid do think that having some more nightlife in the area would be a positive. And someone said on that meeting, well, if someone wants something, they should go to the board. And the reality is, Carter, no one's going to spend the kind of money that real operators spend by the time they get to the board to lock up a space, to design a space, to lay out a space, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
we're not talking about the super late. What I was just talking about is the time period where everybody sees is full of cars. The honking begins. People can't get out. That's when that happens is the.
Oh, 11 and 12?
Yeah, because there's no way.
Cafe license is going to do.
No, but it adds up to the whole area of just people coming and go. Look, you're there every day. I'm just, when I go over there, I'm like, what? Just a brief observations through periods of different time. It doesn't seem like the area is particularly well designed to deal with traffic issues. And because of some of the changes that have happened, that it's exacerbated, and
And what I would say is what I see when I'm there in the evening is there's no one in the neighborhood.
There might be, I was just gonna tell you, Michael, there might not be any people in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
but the black cars going up Ninth Avenue are constant. On any night, anything's happening, and now you've got one more place on 13th Street that as soon as that opened, the honking. I noticed it right, I didn't know that it opened, but I knew something because the honking was going.
Oh, you're talking about that
Yeah,
club,
Huh?
the basement of
Yeah,
where
yeah, yeah.
McCall used to.
So, and so you got the
Shame.
delivery is all over the place. I mean, it's just, and there's no place to, and nobody patrols them, so. So
Where do you guys come out on me having 11 on weekdays and 12 on midnight?
I don't know.
12 on-
That's
For those two
something we'd have
cafes,
to-
for those two cafes.
I think that's something we'd have to discuss in our business section.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
I mean. Yeah,
Listen,
And I mean-
listen, if you guys take that in good faith and we'll think about it, I'll walk on the 4 AM on that piece of the roof.
and stay on the 2 AM
Yes, okay, but on the club component.
on the
yes.
club. Yeah, no, he was
On the
good. That
club
we know.
component,
yeah.
Okay. But I would appreciate if you guys could really think about it, because I really don't see how it hurts. And I think if you guys had seen, and I think Donna may have been there a few times during the summer and seen the vibe of what it is.
No, it was, it was nice. I mean, I'll say that it was very nice. The part that wasn't nice was that everybody had to walk on, the part that I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to do that. There was no, sidewalk access for people. Your seating was fine. People aren't going to walk I know you're
They don't
going to.
want to walk in between.
No, because they feel like they're walking in the middle of the
Funny,
restaurant.
because in Europe, that's
I know, but this is not Europe. So until you get all of this to be Europe, then
that's
it's
exactly
not,
what it is in Europe.
no,
That's why I like it, you know?
huh? That could be. Okay, so you're saying
I'll
we
get-
can work with you on
feedback.
the sidewalk, you'll
Yeah.
concede, because I
Okay.
have letters from one or two people also that were really upset about the 4 AM 13th Street. And Horatio and Greenwich, I got a letter from
Okay.
somebody with, so I mean, that would just be helpful to not have the 4 AM up there.
You'll let me know how you come out of the hour.
Yep, I'll let you know how to come out on the hours on the sidewalk cafe. Microphone,
Just gonna say, you'll let me know how you come out in the hours sidewalk cafe, which will impact.
how you come out on the 4 AM, I understand.
And the transfer, I think we're headed towards a stipulation, which is great, because we'll.
We better for all of us to just,
Absolutely.
say, because Michael, I realize this is all just business and you're trying to get your business to work, but like every couple of years, this is all changing around. So if we have stipulations that are in place, it will make this be a shorter process. So great,
Thank
because
you for your time.
I have one piece of paper that I started copying and pasting going back to 2003 of the rezos. I
Well,
had
if we do a stipulation, we won't need any of that.
found. Don't need that. Great. Okay,
Thank
great. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Okay, just give me 1 second and I'll do your 6th Avenue, just to put my paper.
Passes out.
Yeah. And just let me say, this is 432 6th Avenue LLC, on premise. Restaurant. Go ahead.
Yeah, great. Donald Bernstein on behalf of the applicants, and with me are Boris and Elena, husband and wife, who have both been in the hospitality business for decades. Boris will tell you a little bit about that. Their plan is to open up a Eastern European and Mediterranean restaurant. They have an Israeli chef. This is going to be chef driven. If you look at the menu, I think it's quite nice. The space was previously licensed as, I think it was Umami Burger until, according to my records, 2019. So it was previously licensed. There will be a cellar, which is just back of house, no patron use. A ground floor, which will have 16 tables and 41 seats, and a mezzanine with 18 tables and 48 seats. The hours are 9 AM to 1 AM. Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. No DJ, no live music, no outdoor space, no French doors, no open windows, just background recorded music at all times. And that's all I want to say. And let me just add that I know Boris did some outreach in the community. He met with a resident who was mostly concerned about the smells and grease and odor of the burger place. And he explained, as he can explain to you if you want to hear about it, how his cooking is going to be totally different. He met with neighbors joining his building. I think there's only one tenant above him. They left that tenant a notice. They were not able to speak with that tenant, although Boris tells me that the landlord told that tenant that a restaurant will be coming in to the space. And if that tenant leaves, I think they plan on grabbing that apartment, right? You're gonna lease that apartment. So with that, let me have just Boris give you a little bit of his background and let you know what their vision is.
Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Boris, my wife Elena. We have been in the restaurant industry for a long time. Elena works in New York City restaurant business for 17 years. I'm in the restaurant business for 23 years, including the last 11 years in New York City as a general manager. And I was a managing partner as well for the last 5 years in our branch restaurant located in Washington, D.C. So I live between two cities. During my time in New York City, I was general manager of Marijuana restaurant located on 20th Street between Park Avenue and Broadway. I was fully responsible for the whole operational part of the restaurant. So I was responsible for all relationship with all New York City departments, like Department of Buildings, Health Department, Labor Department, Fire Department, NYPD, and for renewal our liquor license with State Liquor Authority. During my time at Marijuana, we renovated the restaurant because it was a requirement from fire department. We even rebuilt like the facade. It was a landmark building, and we got approval from Landmark Preserving Commission. And the result of the renovation was increased. We increased our sittings and changed the certificate of occupancy. So we experienced with all this with all the rules, how the city works, all the laws, and we met at Marijuana, we married over there. So, and it seems like a time to start our own business, because we still have strength and we have enough experience. As well, when I took over Marijuana, the restaurant had some issues with neighbors. We fixed all these neighbors, we changed the crowd, and we built pretty strong relationship with our neighbors. They became our patrons. We built a beautiful garden in front of the restaurant. Elena and me, we planted flowers all the time by our own. We bought it in Union Square, beautiful market. So I believe we're fully experienced by the rules, by the codes, by the laws, by the building relationship with the neighbors. So I believe we won't be any problem, and an opposite, I believe we will be a very good part of the neighborhood. And once even we had Bill de Blasio in our restaurant, he stopped by and saw our garden and said thank you for socializing the block, socializing the city. So I believe we will be a very good part of the neighborhood.
Okay.
And about about the concept of the restaurant, because I'm very well experienced. I was a brand chef at Marijuana restaurant, so I know the Eastern European food. And during my time here, I built a very strong relationship with restaurant people in Eastern Mediterranean food, like Israeli. And I believe this is a very good food, and people really love it. And Eastern European and Eastern Mediterranean food, it's pretty good food for combining. It's pretty similar. So we planning to have like all day cafe, all day restaurant. We're going to open, like, if everything will work okay, like starting 8 a.m., maybe 9 a.m. It will be like a coffee shop in the morning. We would like to collaborate with WSA-NY coffee because we love it. Like, I think it's the best coffee. And it will continue like a lunch place during like mid hours, and we going to open for dinner starting like 4 or 5 p.m. Like, I think like 4 p.m. And our kitchen, like during the busiest day, Friday and Saturday, I believe will work till like 11:30 the latest. And the bar, the last call at the bar, like Friday, Saturday, we will do like around like 11:30, like midnight. So we would like to have like our people, our guests have finished their dinner, and this is why we're asking like the liquor license till 1 a.m.
So last call will be at 12 a.m.
It's it will be the latest.
Okay. And so there's no TVs,
No TV.
no outside,
No
outside seating,
possible.
background music only.
Background music, yes.
And then like private parties, how many?
I think 12 years.
Okay,
I think it's stuff. It's stuff, yes.
okay.
Because it's two separate floors. And,
Right. And then, there's, what I put, is there a backyard? Put something down, private emergency exit, the emergency exit. Oh, yeah, to the residential. So the emergency exit goes in. So is that alarmed? That will be alarmed.
I believe we're gonna do this like for like safe purposes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you tell them, I'm gonna put that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to make sure that, because that goes into the residential.
I don't want like our customers like go through.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, so alarm emergency exit, okay. Committee, do you have any questions?
Mr. Bernstein, do you have a package for this applicant?
Doesn't have. You don't have? No. Skip you.
I don't think I don't, oh. It's your logo, it's your style, yeah.
And like one more thing, I want to add that like during COVID, like we and our patrons, we started the group GoFundMe page, and we supplied like thousands of meals for our first responders, like almost every hospital in Manhattan, like many hospitals in Brooklyn. So like, and we were reached out by our neighbor. She she had some problems with the umami burger before, and she concerned about the odor, fat, and like the constant smell of fried onion and the meat. And we met. I explained that like we're going to be like the classic restaurant, and classic restaurant tend to use mostly like ovens, not the grills. And we're not going to grill so much meat and all the time. And it's so strange.
Where does it vent to? Does it vent to the roof or out?
It's went to the roof, and it's faced to the 6th Avenue. The roof with the building, the third floor.
Because it's a small, but it's only a three-story building, so
Three-story building,
that's
yeah.
why
Yeah, but it like
we're surrounded by tall buildings. So does it go to Sixth Avenue or the vent? Does it
on 6th Avenue, yes.
blowing that way,
Well,
not blowing?
Yes, and she said that the previous restaurant before Mommy Burger,
Mhm.
it was pretty decent, and like they she sent me an email today that the smells and noise were bearable when the previous restaurant was in that location. So I hope your restaurant will be good
Right.
neighbor as Amber was.
Yeah, no, I know. I love it. So short is what. So I think that's the one thing to just check on that venting to make sure that it goes out to Sixth Avenue because you're surrounded by all those other
Yes.
buildings there. Katie, did you have anything?
So when Donnie mentioned that we would like to take the apartment on the third floor, is that to live in it?
It's an apartment on the third floor, and the whole building belongs to our landlord. And the landlord initially, when he leased that apartment, he said that it's going to be the restaurant downstairs, like anyway. And so the tenant, it's one apartment, so the tenant has no problem with that. And we just said that to our landlord, if the tenant going to leave, we're going to take over that apartment.
For live in it or to?
Yeah, to leave over.
Okay, because it's zoned, it's
residential apartment.
Yeah, it's a residential apartment and.
Because me and Aaron are going to work as a floor managers as well and Metro Ds. I will be mostly responsible for the back of the house, and I will be responsible mostly for the front of the house. And we're going to be the clothing managers. So we're going to close every shift except Sunday. We're going to hire one more manager. So right now we live in South Brooklyn, and it's much more convenient to live over there.
It's certainly more convenient to be right upstairs. But you never get a rest.
Wow.
So there's no live music.
No live
right?
music.
Right, okay. Does anybody else?
But I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
It's a little for a restaurant. Usually 12 during the weekdays would be nice.
I think we talked about it, and the kitchen's gonna close between 11 and 3. And this is chef driven, so we don't want to be in a position where we have to say to somebody, hurry up and order because you gotta get out, or have to say, you have to finish because we have to close by midnight. So if the kitchen is closing by 11:30, that gives everybody an hour and a half to finish. And the way these work is there's an ebb and flow. It's not gonna be full by 11:30 at night, but whoever comes in at 11, we want to make sure they have time to enjoy it.
So last meeting is at 11:30.
The last, right.
Yes, it will be the latest.
The last meeting is, that's late.
It's late. Okay, it's late.
Yeah.
It was.
I've got to take the rest of the restaurant. If someone wants to come in for a nightcap at 11:45, we'll give you a grip. But yeah, the last seating at table is.
One says that's a little late, Don.
I know.
I couldn't hear applications with later and people are trying to push me for 1 AM. I really don't think it is.
You know our position.
Tell me what your view is. We
Well,
will.
we have your hours and we'll discuss it at business. I'll email you if,
Sunday, Monday, you want us to close by midnight? I think we can probably do it.
okay.
We'll do
Yes.
Monday at midnight.
Yeah. Because there's the kitchen 10 PM, 10:30. So
So until midnight is not a problem on Sunday or Monday then.
Okay,
we could do that.
all right. I wrote that down and that's what we'll discuss. Carter?
So I just we had some things and that were sometimes, are you guys gonna be doing any of the key Mondays? Or unlimited food and vendors that
Special event.
they limit the
To be at Monday,
entrance?
yes.
like Monday with the DJ till 1 AM.
So you're not gonna be doing that or unlimited food and drink specials? Well, because the menu you have looks the same as the place that you work at now, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that even the actual menu itself physically is the same.
Because during that key Mondays, Ron was responsible for everything, like inside with the customer, with the service, and I was standing like at the door, like I was like on a first control. We had bodyguards, like we fed up at that business, and all this entertainment thing, they brings more trouble than like satisfaction and money. So it's.
So, and then for the brunches aren't just gonna be unlimited food and drink and buffet and all that, it's gonna be a sit down.
Yeah.
Standard steps, it'll say no unlimited, no, yeah, no, I know, right.
No. We fed up with that as well, yes. So after COVID, we like stopped at marijuana as well.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, good, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mino Wine Bar. Doing business as Mino Brasserie, 225 West 12th Street, on-premise restaurant application. This is a class change and there's sidewalk seating, and apologies, you get a free out of jail card, whatever Bob says.
Good evening. Do you want one? You okay? Do you want one? Yeah. You're good too?
Yeah.
Do you need one? There you go. Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
So my name is John. So I'm one of the partner with Mino. Awesome. So I'm here to so that's change for the license. So if you are there with I would like to upgrade that to premise license. So started to operate license March 2022, and since then I have a lot of requests and demand from patrons to have the full liquor license, and that's also the reason why we're here. We had a lot of support. We have been part of the neighborhood for now for years, 2 years and a half, and I think everything has been going well so far. So we had also some letter of support from Mr. David Marcus, who probably who became a regular since almost like the first week with his wife. They're coming pretty much every week now. So and in terms of preparations, so there's no change in operations. So we don't have any background music on it. Any opening windows, doors, anything. To also maintain the side traffic and the foot traffic in front, so we never have anybody in front. We have like a near the bar where people can wait for visit. Sometimes I would say maybe one or two every month or so, something like this.
24 a year maximum, 20?
Yeah, 24 a year max, I would say. So hours of operations, we don't ask for any change for this, or will it remain as but we operate before? When something. So yeah, we have a basement, but we don't. It's not for open bathrooms. It's only for a kitchen. Some storage. Yeah.
So your hours, you close at 11:30 Sunday, you're closed on Mondays, midnight to Tuesday to Thursday, and then 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
And then you had applied to DOT for the sidewalk seating.
Yes.
Did you hear anything back yet? Have you been approved yet? I don't know, because you've had.
I'm not sure.
You've had your.
I'm not sure about this.
Okay, and you had sidewalk seating. Previous people there had sidewalk seating, and you had sidewalk seating.
Yes, with the dining out problem, yes.
So,
with
the ambulances and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So that's what I was, so your outdoor is closing at 10:30. What, would you agree to staying with those hours?
Yes.
Outside seating?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because that's not your, I will say it's not what it said on the application. On the application, it said midnight, I think. So when we get, what's the agreement? 10:30, which is what he has been doing. Okay. Okay. Does anybody have anything? Katie?
Sorry.
I just want to clarify. The co-op is doing them, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
The co-op on the landlord?
The co-op is our landlord.
Get another one.
Oh, yeah. So, is it, yes, that's better. That's better. Okay, good. The co-op is your landlord, correct?
I don't know. I know the landlord, but the problem is that.
So who do you have the lease with?
Yeah, we have a lease.
Who's the owner?
Can check. I don't know that will be that sorry.
But what difference? Yeah, I know, I know, it depends. I think in this case, because I looked at the address, I think it is.
I don't know the info. I just changed my phone yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's a new phone.
Yeah, is it working?
So, but I can definitely send you the details about this is yeah. 24 as well. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Marcus is both is your landlord because he's the president of the board.
Oh, probably, yes, probably, yes.
That's fine. That's my point.
Probably, yes. You're right. Oh, yeah.
I didn't see your phone.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay, anybody have anything else? Yeah. Think it's good?
Okay, and this is also part of the concept of the French brasserie. A lot of people ask for juices or cocktails, and we cannot really offer that at the moment. So this is really to help them and that will help us as well.
No, good. And then, so the stipulations will have the outdoor, I'll just say your future sidewalk seating, you'll still have to send in an alteration. You'll have to send in another 30-day notice because that's what the SLA is making you do once you're approved by DOT to notify. But then we can waive your appearance. When you do that, you won't have to come back again since we've just addressed it now. So that makes you feel a little bit better about sitting here all this time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. Okay. Okay, I mean, business, anybody here will. Okay, yeah.
Yes, a bit, I think. Not a lot. We
Yeah.
moved a lot inside.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, yeah, we do
we don't like them, the fake flowers. Yeah, a lot of us don't, yeah, they get dirty and they're not real, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
No, I just don't like the flowers generally, but that's.
yeah, we don't like, they put real flowers, not fake flowers, yeah. But no. Okay, good night, stay warm. Okay, no new business, we'll take a break for a minute.
All right, stay well. Thank you.
And I have a figure and some of them start breaking up. I ordered them. So I have. You didn't try. You didn't. No.
Committee and doing it online. I'm a member of the Democratic Corporation.
Oh, yeah.
And so actually, yeah, as they're coming up to the positioning starting very soon.
I know.
Little white, it's like, oh, you're done.
I don't quite my ability, but I don't. I'm not very so what done how no, I mean I did that and then but this is what I did about I'm using so I copied every resolution I can find just for Word document. So I go all the way, if I got a bag of towels, I'm like, so I did the whole thing. And then I did update it for this last one, I ended it in 22, so I don't have to call, I don't have to pull you, I have a transcript and I have it, stuff that I didn't put in. Full board here. So, but okay, this was on activity for years and. I think it's better. Well, no, we want to what we do the community for. Like what's that? How I'm Vincent Elaine one day, walking the dog, and somehow they got in a random conversation, and he probably like, my wife was sitting upstairs and waiting to she always did about and she said, "You need to come to the community board," and here we are. So. Right, but I wasn't, interestingly enough, I was not involved with the hotel, like, all the noise everybody was complaining about on Rooftop, I think it was, I never heard, because it's all of the apartment. So bad as hell, I heard it about the floor, but that Rooftop, I didn't really. What floor is it? I'm 2 and 3, and we live on 3, work on 2, so it's just a good. It's in, well, plus it's. You know, we have so many years, you know, there's so much, this is like, for many years now, one is different, we got a lot of phone calls on that. And I actually, I'm trying to get it. And bye. Okay. So, we haven't done, John, maybe they'll go on another different. Maybe.
I mean, I will allow them to have their.
Yeah. Okay, so Friends Rose is a big one. Corporate. I remember my saying, yeah, not, where the home is. It's been there since 1993, it's not much changed, so since 1993, I mean, I couldn't find what has changed. I know, they're not. But it's still sensitive. It doesn't. That's what we want. Yeah, so that's the other thing.
It used to be 24 hours.
Right.
Something happened in 2017 where they closed.
Okay.
And they then. Whatever, something changed, right? It's 24 hours.
Right. Well, this
So they rebranded.
good call. We better do the French ones, but come on.
The front rows.
Yeah.
Something around the front rows.
Well, it's still, yeah. Alright. So this is denial of. Okay. The next one is the practice period. Worker change. Everything will say that are the you know, what happens you're saying it's versus corporate. I don't find it. Initially, sir. I know, I want to get in, but I think to make a presentation, so I'm a little busy. So, are you not with that? Okay. And he said,
It's still there.
yeah.
Isn't it rebranded?
Jumping up to the sidewalk, it's like, please walk with that. In there. We done that. Every, when the time we lose the date, it needed the hours, and we get that notice that I made up, I sent it to you all, I had one with me on Tuesday night, because we had, there was an actual application, our first one to the municipal. And so, it just says what license class you are, how many tables and chairs you have, and not more than that many tables and chairs on each street or the road. And it's something to be effect of, you'll abide by all the rules and regulations. And then we'll do the leave outside, no, not going to face the outside on the local window, and then all the other stipulations stated, and I'll put the date in there, whatever they are. I'm going to make that, and I'm going to attach those stipulations to it. Because yes, actually, there's not a follow alteration. I mean, if it's a new application, they go, because it's part of their new application, but this is a corporate change. The SLA is making everybody, whether they have previous sidewalk cafe or not, so it's a totally different program. But on an alteration application, you could add a sidewalk seating onto their license. And frankly, there's plenty of time to do it. It's gonna be different, some of them, and some may be added a little bit. So that's gonna be different, so. They're coming back.
Ready.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's fine, but you just need to waive. Whatever they apply for, as long as they keep the outdoor power.
Right, well, that's great, that's fine. They have, doesn't have to know about it, so just, I'm just trying to be able to wait to come up with this, we're gonna get an honest.
Anybody outside with a closing hour. We will waive their appearance here as long as it stays the same. There's nothing.
Right, I mean.
Extreme, even if there might be a little problem, we cannot.
We can't be.
We have
that. Right. Like the community doesn't want, I'm sorry to say this, but if you just don't want to blow them, there's an absolutely no problem with anybody, and they, I mean, I know good operators. I'm just like, right, city council person, I can't, because I mean, so the one thing was the sure, like before we are on. And so they had the cycle seating before. They can actually fit in, I think, 2 more tables now because it's not a mailbox and not a phone booth, but the phone booth, they can still use, so they might have to move tables if they expect to that big. And then they added a version, they, you know, done everything, they were done. And I just, that's where I used to form and just, he wanted to close it open. I said, if you agree to close it, I think it was 10 and then Friday and Saturday, because of where they are. You know, we'll waive your appearances at 5. So that, you know, that's good. If you wanted to say 12, we'll just see it.
We'll just, as we have done, something that.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we're, at this point, we're less than 3 months. Just, it's April 1st.
And what is
It's
that?
gonna be April 1st, like that. Yeah, it's, so we're gonna just get this whole, or they're gonna waive the refund, something.
I mean,
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna tell these restaurants, oh, you can't open, you know, to your business, so. It's better. But what we do have is places that somebody never had.
Right, that's good.
And they, a lot of those, some of them have been problematic. Graders, you know.
And even, that was complicated on, so, that, but we just try to waive as many of these, because with the SLA, they can apply to the SLA and they can from the invitation. Now, the SLA is giving them the 2 months of the window, with kind of a clock, kind of by the DOT to be able to apply. But DOT probably not to be, at the rate of going, my deadline, we probably hundreds of these approved in March. Okay, AW last 1 hour. They will send it not being diet. We're talking about, yes, but that is the they said 24 part of the year. They will put in limited something, system. And then we have it. They take the church out of the base for that. And there's that practice. So we know how like that, like because it's all regulation. Spell that.
That doesn't mean there's no traffic.
Right. They're gonna try to point
What it
you.
means is something that people waiting out.
Right, which is more important. And then we have people that get out of right. So. When the DJ will only be for private flight. I mean, what? I mean, there.
Well, no, it's hard, you don't have the back. But, it's okay if you have to do other things. The problem is, what they're doing. It seems like they're more concerned about the vision than they are about adding parameters, and I guess my concern is that this just seems a little restrictive on the reality of the problem. It's not. This wasn't that, it's not a problem. It wasn't.
Well, that's why, and that's why we call them back, because what they said when they came to years ago, when it was the 2 guys from this town were steakhouse, and then all of a sudden, you see, they're not opening. I had these signs that they were in 2023, that I did not realize that they were better reported to us. My error, but I think.
My issue with that, it's that they're following something that's a little bit more attractive.
Right.
And that trend, like, riding. And that's like, it's not, again, not about what it is.
Well, that-
You're stuck with these restrictions in the basement.
But that's-
They're gonna be operating against them, and that's sort of where.
But that's what happens in that, because I said, come back and just tell us what you're doing, because I looked at the neighbors around there. Well, pretty well aware of one of them was a contract, you got 2 sticks, that you could come to that, I'm pretty well aware that it's a problem. So then nobody's expecting it to necessarily not to be, but they just want to crowd down, so I don't usually go to their place. So this is why I wanted them to come back, so they could not.
That's a trend. So the trend is reservations, and the trend is what can you add to your bill that have to be higher. They have both of those things. Yeah. They don't have the bottle service, but they have the categories. Can't raise the price. The clients, they want to have, it's an area downstairs with their cat, their nose. And once you don't have those items to serve anymore, and the thing you sure, you go back to their entire volume. Activity. Well, the thing about it, I mean, it's just, it's like, instead of like. But they figured out anyway, you know, in another few years that it's gonna fall, you know, just something different. It's not a problem. I just don't like that it seems that this place is set up to have a problem. And that's an like diagrams, you know, the back door was an issue before you moved into the wall. And that was still, and so I just.
And the noise,
The noise is what I.
Radiated out of the space, and I don't know if it's better.
It's not
upstairs.
We didn't see the diagram, like, it should be easily stopped if you. So depending on whatever you're creating, it could be where speakers are mounted, but it could be where they have subwoofers located, and it goes into some hollow area. It's just big. Like a couple buildings away, that can be stopped, like that is not.
So how do we feel?
Well, we didn't have any stuff to see, and they were making significant changes. So I don't think it's a problem, it's just, it's probably not a problem now, it's a problem now, but it's gonna be a problem.
Well, why,
If they were still there.
then, why aren't we in the resolution, pretty legal? You know, that the neighbors are complaining about radiating the water from not however the street, but somehow we build it, that's like. You know, somehow, and you know, if there are questions, if they want them to come back and do it, or other, you know, things that. If you understand we're having the people come in, yeah, they said, they'll meet with the community with that, whatever.
If they have the lower level tab. Remember this was above.
Right.
And. I mean, that's, I mean, if they.
If they do what they say they're going, if they operate, it's still.
I just.
Now, we put it here, so the people in here who are still before. So.
They're spending money now. You wouldn't have to think about it, you're not sound, you didn't have diagram. I don't know, you always think money, right? You don't go back. The pressure now is when you want to put the pressure on. Oh, here's a new guy, I can't get money, it's now.
Right, this is right.
How the rest of them say that, I just want to make sure that that.
The pressure shot and all everything, like, I couldn't tell you.
I was very sure it was an international preschool on federal.
Yeah.
And I should have asked about it here, was that in place in the previous night? It's, it seemed like compatible uses, but,
It's been out.
But they're really like.
what do you mean?
They don't know a lot.
Part of, no, they had to open it, well, they open it to.
But the cover things are, the probably is better than that, with the finance, because the kids are gone by food, but it's. So if there's something particularly you want to reach out.
Sound and stuff, and I mean, just see the diagram. I mean, if they really are using. DJ, the private events, but that's generally. I just, you know, each time over the many years of doing this, each time I want to improvement, each time it's really like that. There's a problem, and this seems like an opportunity to continue that problem. And that's what we should focus on, like improvement of the sound and everything. And I think they said that they would limit sound and something.
Right.
And so that's what we just want to emphasize, to eliminate the problem. You're right, it's in such a way that the whole problem to the sound tank, even if the problem comes back in the future, we'll have a way to build a sound bigger.
Okay.
Because I actually, you know, I do know that this was. I know that Scott invested a lot of money into this place. I know that he was one of the few operators who do new things, that's why they. So they did do things, but there is obviously something. Wasn't intention, so it's like, how do you? I don't know about taking out ones. Back in, you know, these places need to usually strip up the county. The walls, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the point is, the traffic fits all sound issues. So if you think it's something you need DJs, you know, you might want louder stuff more often, make sure that it's insulated now to accommodate whatever future changes you may want to make. That's good. Right. Basic area level. I feel like it's a medical to be piece of right. All right, so that's now. Katie's like, we're done. Back it up. I got my hours.
So I'd like to know on all those stipulations, but
Yeah.
overlay on the diagrams, with the hours. What the hours. Because that's.
It was so, and he thinking of him, I'll tell you something as well, but because of the whole thing, you know, they did the memos, but we denied, so we were, we have to go. But if you will go, he got some, but I mean, we did overall, they got.
But that's significant part of the thing. This issue, they changed the hotel. And my, and it's not a problem with that, because it makes sense, but what the private numbers problems outlined with the license was, you're not confident to do it. And that was the issue. And they still haven't changed the law, which should, it's intended to every conceivable way to allow private numbers right now. You start each year with the membership fees. Or each month, you know, and you also have initiation, whatever it is. That's a lot of money. And that's why everybody is looking to do that. But the money, it's not like it's a tennis club where you guys can take care of the tennis courts. They're all extracting the value of the liquor license law, really, they're written for social, network, recreational, like, you know, incident aspects of things. So that's where we have the issues with that. And they said, and the interconnectedness here, which was your question, why are you facing to get? And that's because the licensed areas can technically separate. And you know, it's like, oh, you only it's like that's why they're supposed to be separate, but they're not, and that's why we had an issue with this in the beginning.
Right.
It's not with him or with the hotel, it's just that he's on these waves. And I think that he was very upfront that they were struggling with COVID and drastically change his business model. In business. And if you notice here again, you know, they've gone away from that model of that. You know, this is a trend across a lot of stuff. See, so I don't have a problem. I just want anybody to do it.
Right, that's what that's gonna be. Like, you can see the job. Right, and one of them is back with the fact that the coffee shop. And, you know, when I was trying to go to the I mean, I spent hours in class, and then I get a day up there and that, you know, I just talking. And I was, even on the Donald was back on the community person, on the community business, you know, and so. And I emailed him 2 days ago, just for the music in each area. He said, it's all, nothing's changing. This is what I said, nothing's changing where I live, but, you know, because, you know, and if you look at the old resolution from 2004, 2005, my percent, you know, it's 3 or 4, depending on the house, you know, the people are there, and they're like, no. And then just to the rooftop. So what you were saying about it, Boston, when it was written resolution way back then, there was nothing on the rooftop. Then it was supposed to be, we don't need resolution. I asked you all, just like, right.
Stipulations there were stipulations were not, they weren't used to define parameters, they were used for their objections. That's if you need that stipulations are. But what happened is we realized that we had objections unless they do that. So stipulations really started being written out by the community, probably until very early 2009, 2010. And what they were. Well, yeah, but we started because we started having problems like this. And originally we said one thing, and it's like, oh, a year later, in 2014, files.
That's just like
So, you know,
that happens changed.
and so we don't have to, but what there are, and they require when you get them, is that sometimes there are affidavits that are done as part of the lifetime program or part of the license application that they got as management. So there may be something that I don't find my oil is, but you also have to oil the right application because this has evolved in a number of things. Also, when you didn't have the hotel actually didn't have all their licenses with them on it. Each of those areas, like Jeff Tower had one, big areas and CDL had another, so they were separated. So it's very difficult to go back and try to figure it out.
So one other. I know what I think this is. I don't want to talk about this. Honestly. We're going to do a denial of that and all the parts of it.
Well, I think that this is a reasonable, like, you know, I think that there's a reason that's come into this, because we started this conversation a long time ago, and now I'm not changing it. So, that was, and we piecemeal so much, but now there's nothing left of the original one, because they're doing this whole change. So it's the opportunity.
Well, last time.
But he always had the one entity was apart, and now that's done, it's gone. Which is Gansevoort LLC, who's always the main one that started taking these all in. But now that's dissolved and an institute. So this is the one time where it actually is all, it never happens. Like it's always evolved. And that is what he told us, the reason is because the lender is wanting there to be the entity, wherever it was in the structure, they would use it. You know, to kind of default, whatever, very complicated structure like this. But that's what he was saying, is if they don't want to lose it, because I think that that is very real for him, but the membership problem told us. You know, wherever he was in Europe, and lost them. And you know, it's a big issue. So I think this is a good step, and I think it's also realistic, which is being divided up areas where they're a little less impactful. But you know, in terms of others, if they kind of look back in the past when they made a lot of money, the later ones, they used to make a lot of money, but now that business is divided out into the city. Their area, but that's why he never wants to And that's what I was just trying to say, the issues to the, on the roof to that floor in the middle side, which is actually a real interior. The issue is not. I don't think it's.
Or, it's other, and good. And you're gonna have
That's keeping it in the middle. One there on the roof, right?
No, he's keeping it to the hotel part that is not the hotel part. Right.
In the middle.
And the middle. But it's not in the middle, it's on the side.
Yeah, well, the interiors, so okay, it's on the north side.
It's not on the north side.
But it's the fully interior.
Right, it's not glass.
It's not.
It's the only interior.
Right, and that's.
Yeah. Yes, so,
But he's even imposed or changed some of that upstairs.
yeah,
You know, to make it more seasonal,
yeah, most of it is for season,
except for the east,
except for that little bit.
yeah, which looks bigger than.
But it's not that big of a one, just because I got it for a couple of years. It really.
I just think it's important so that it's out, whatever, and it's not unusual. Like you said, it's, I think that is to make it clear. It takes a little bit of work for that to build that.
But, it's not here.
Yeah, and then the other thing, saying, which is all issues. And, this is all of things, it's all and that allows places that might have been. It's moved from. So you're going to do a one-off, but one of the important things that he says, we should address them. And that should be in there, as a bit of address. That's like. And that, what that means is that you don't get called on the record.
Right now, that's.
And that guy, who's the guy, years ago, he's the guy who started to rebuild. No, he's the guy. And then partner is what whole, on a number of places. And one is a sports club, it led them to sleep bar, which is down in one of the gates, down the restaurant, so that's there. And they came in winter, and they're all now instead of the windows, came in and that's what got Leslie Parks across the street, and it was nuts. But he had a number of issues also with enforcement, other places, like the licenses, and so that I was. Well, here, right, there is a history of issues, and even to the point that the board was asked for materials regarding.
So, transfer or. Say. And then we have the alteration. So we have the alteration and the changing method of operation on the wall. It's two things. The alteration is two things. And we'll be on, so remove the cellar and the change in method of operation. Actually, we can go ahead with it. He's not doing it. He's not going to get this out. No. Right. He's still good at the bottom. He's changing method of operation to get into the bottom of the top. Yeah. He's want to do that. So it's. it's now for the first, anyway. So that's contingent on the sidewalk.
But I don't have. I don't think the sidewalks.
Sidewalk, I'm just telling you, the biggest problem anybody has with the sidewalk is because there's a government rights.
But that's not.
And you know,
How it should be.
but, and I don't think, I will say that the only place that the sidewalk can be done later. It's.
Well, we want that outdoor seating up there, it's an amenity that actually is something for you to what.
Yeah.
Actually, but it's not. The big side of the area is the outside. I put it on station.
No, you know.
Just becomes an experience.
No, but they.
And there's photos and everything there, but this is the better one. The seating is through the licensed sidewalk. It's. When somebody sits, somebody has to maintain it, and take care of it, and they would run like. And they pay.
I mean, listen, I will say, when the out there, and the big will require for that, because there's no seating, people were sitting down there, so I'm just seating out there. Okay, so there, so there's the old map. What was found.
I forgot that corner, that's it. So they lost significant amount of seating, what would be saying, it's not that people are interested in the membership, so what's happening is happening. Because all of this use membership stuff, there's not that many people paying.
Right.
For the privilege. So I think it's good when we have a reduction of membership hours, because I don't want to have this sustainable.
Right.
Because that.
That's where all the parts.
Yeah.
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 I mean, the septic space on the northeast side, just, it looks like you just finished that one, not that one. That's not being used. So, yeah, your house has a little more go. But yeah, that was one of the, that was one of the arguments. We need another part of that, because the glory guys in the same building, so out, and you've got this, and you've got that. Exactly. Okay, so we are, so on all four of them, we have to listen to this pretty good dollar in the record, it's for the day, you know, it's for the day, so. So I'm not on that. Yeah, let's talk about this. I want this for a second, but what, then that's the one on. One. Number five, now what's that? We are to the right of the jury, following that, Rooftop. That's all. That's all. That's the part of it. Yes, but that is the hotel. That was. Not the 01, that was happened to my here, laying out the goal line. But wait a minute, what is the difference between number 3? And number 3 is the alteration to add the cellar. And number 5 is because they are forming a new entity. Oh, there, you know what I understand about that part of it? The new entity, right? Yeah. What is TRP?
So whatever it is that new entity, that was what we said the bank was making them created. Their LLC is structuring had whatever layer that we said would happen. So that they wouldn't do ownership.
I got that. And so this name, which is alteration.
That's the old.
But it's the exact same name. What? These two things. For the temporary retail permit, it is noted at the top of the sheet. At the top of the draft. Okay, so the sidewalk, this is the hours that he was at sidewalk. What's it coming up? No, I think it was 11. He was like. I mean, I'm personally fine with it. I'm just gonna say, once we use there, that we use it for this cafe.
I would say it's under fashion.
What? Yeah.
That's when it gets all super crazy.
But what, I don't think it would be never, because I'm not more that day to the main super crazy area, one of the crazy. Very trade to get in the but just let's just have this other part of the conversation, is if we're doing that in there. Is in the side of it, like the particular before said, no, I don't see it, it's side of you're gonna have to probably like to be in the sidewalk. That means if over time, they probably will, and those are Mino's columns.
But that's what they want. And that's what, you know, even though technically, right, the bid is supposed to be supplementary in particular. But that particular bid is.
They're everything else.
As it is not income to generate. Positive. And so they've been involved in all these areas. They also claim budget area streets. And so there seems to be, you know, the accommodation for that, such as, you know, these guys have a long process for the later night stuff, but it seems not the one. Yeah, but I don't know the bond. Also, in those places.
Those meters, my color.
What I can see more is that you also have. Well, yeah, there's not enough spaces in the other areas.
No, and actually, but other things that we hear is on my map. This is not that. All able to keep these right, or they can't do anything. Another so this furniture, but you don't say on there.
It also.
I mean, I don't have to see that there is a problem with it. There's no evidence that base that. Or the other. Right, exactly. That's a good space to, wall. Okay. Well, that's what? Barney squad. The postmark. I know. Is yours? I did my. Well, what do you think about,
well, they address our various concerns, and they address them, but we don't. They pretty said that clearly, and so I think that's, you know, addressing the situation of not having the budget for any nights that are restricted.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our standard schedule. What was it, you said no. Not being open, everybody was like.
They are. Oh, Mondays.
Okay, unless it's a private one. And it's all, all right, so that has to be a step that only one board can go to public.
Well, they did say.
They said they wanted it as well.
Well.
You think that's the big one?
Well, there's, you know.
And you can go plenty of Monday.
It's interesting because we've had a number of Russian restaurants. Like, hopefully identified Russian restaurants right in this area, which just started. They all last a couple of years. Never seen COVID.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, this. Well, just you see things, you know. I really went. Right, yeah.
That was the first visit I went to the husband there. Then okay, and then you know one, are we? What's the other thing? Yeah, I mean, I'm not, I hope everybody's like, I kept checking to see how many letters are coming in, if you know, they're hoping to be the best. This is not gonna cause me or something, but I will file some, I've never wanted to any of the issues that happen on spring to figure out. So there's some kind of things to do to the accountability. They did very good. I'm also, I'm not. They just want
I think Donna.
Really? Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's so gross. I did say that. I can't stand it. I thought they looked, I mean, it was dirty. I don't know. After I saw the sidewalk pages, that's when it. Carter, I you have no idea how crazy it is.
And have you seen anybody do it?
Yeah. But also, the people who executed it are not the people I need to get.
Right, no, and that's the street.
So I now monitor somebody taking my real job as an marketer. And it's like, I don't think.
We're out. Yeah.
We're willing to make the street and someone's like me and all of these locals, but I'm like, oh my goodness, this is United something. So I was like, well, I'm gonna contact these people and I've talked with them, this is illegal.